All right, howdy everybody, and welcome to, what is this here, Dan? This is the Security Health Plan Red Zone channel. Security Health Plan promises kept. See, they make them first, then they keep them. Plain and simple. Sponsored by Security Health Plan today.
This is why I don't do the reads. I could never remember it.
You know, there was a time, Jason Zaleski, Dan Ross, there was a time, oh boy, 5 or 6 years ago, and the commercial list wasn't as thorough as it is now.
Yep.
And those reads, I had them, all three of them memorized.
All three.
Whatever it was. It wasn't many, I can tell you that. But thankfully, Security Health Plan and others have come on to make this what it is today. We're even entertaining the folks outside today. We got a big speaker. Well, the little speakers with big. They're bigger than they look. I think.
People are looking over here.
Yeah, well, they should. Feast your eyes, people. Security Health Plan, Red Zone channel. We're going to talk about a lot of different stuff today. It's a big day for high school. It's a big weekend for high school football. Games were played last night. Tony's watching. Hey, Tony, thanks for tuning in. A lot of people, Dan, are going to be watching tonight. I've advertised map making in this opening half hour. What was I saying here? A big week of high school football, 48 hours or so of it. We had games last night. Now, there were some that were on the schedule. Loyal Greyhounds defeat the Pacelli Cardinals. The Cardinals season comes to an end. They do not qualify for the playoffs. Congratulations to Chris Linder and his Loyal Greyhounds. Their fourth win in conference. They are in. We felt they were probably in anyway. But with that fourth win, you can't keep them out now.
That's right. Qualified.
So, qualified. Put a stamp on it, and the Hounds are going to be dancing next week on a week from today, most likely.
Do you know who's not going to be dancing? Pittsville.
Pittsville lost at Abbotsford last night. Pittsville then with just the 2 conference wins. Man, they started out strong too, didn't they?
They really did.
They looked good. The 2 non-conference wins, and
4-0.
They've started out. Yeah, they won their first 2 conference the games, and so so the Abbotsford Falcons. Coach Jake Netmiller and his Falcons are in the playoffs officially. They may have been already. Maybe that was their 5th conference win. They likely. Well, anyway, they're in. I think it was their 4th. So they're in. We had Mosney. I was at Mosney last night, as it turned out. We had Mosney and Merrill.
Running clock game.
It was, and that's kind of the thought. Now, here's what's interesting, Dan. Merrill ends the season 0-for, so the Jays will have to regroup again next year on the gridiron. It looked like a team, though. I didn't memorize everybody's year and what they were. Steve, Katie watching. I didn't. Nothing like that, but it looks like they had some things kind of going there. Mosney won the game 49-0 and 4 fumbles.
They fumbled 4 times?
Yes.
And lost them?
Lost 3 of the 4.
Okay.
So 49-0 though anyway. And looked a little shaky to me. Now, I theorize that, Coach Stoffel rolls into the practice on Wednesday and says, guess what, boys? We're playing tomorrow. So whatever we normally do on Thursday, we're not able to do, and we're just going to go play football tomorrow. So maybe some sloppiness with that. Who knows, right?
Did they finish 9-0?
Perfect 9-0.
Awesome.
And
congratulations.
Congratulations to the Mosney Indians. We have Mosney as a 1 seed coming up at the bracket reveal tomorrow. But we're going to tell you a lot about the brackets here. So stay locked right here. We've got information. We've got the seed formula. I feel pretty confident about the maps. I'd say 85 to 90%. And that's pretty confident.
It is.
Tomorrow, we're going to advertise this a few times, Dan. Tomorrow, 3 p.m., Dan and I will be here. Katie's going to be over there, and we're going to have many coaches in our annual football playoff preview show. We have coaches call in and give us their thoughts on their seed and their playoff lives and all that kind of thing. So that's at 3 o'clock tomorrow, right here on these channels that you're watching on. And in that 3 o'clock hour, we'll also have WIAA football commissioner Tom Shafransky as a special guest, and he's going to tell us about the maps. And then we're looking forward to that. So anyway, where was I going here? Yeah, so Mosney 9-0 on the season, so perfect season. Obviously 7-0 in conference, and they set a great Northern Conference record last night, Dan. They only gave up 3 points the entire season in conference. The Indians. 3. Yep.
Who scored 3 on them?
Hayward.
All right.
Hayward had a field goal 2 weeks ago. So they shut out everybody else. Medford, Anago, Rhinelander, and the whole squad there.
Probably,
shut them down.
Probably the only thing better would be in a scoreless conference season, which the Wildcats might get tonight.
The Edgar Wildcats have not been scored upon since quarter number 1 in week number 2. Think about that. Right, 6 games, so 27 straight quarters. And I'm not sure, Dan, if the other teams have even gotten close.
Yeah, unfortunately, when we're sitting here, we don't watch Edgar a whole lot because those games aren't that close, and we have our eyes on close games. But, yeah, they're playing so well right now. Also a projected number 1, I believe.
They are a projected number 1 in the Division 7 bracket. And what else? I'm missing a game from yesterday that we had on the network. So in all total, about 180 games statewide. About 30 of them got played on Thursday. Still plenty, over 100 games tonight. And I'm confused. So around here, it rained a little, and it depended where you were. Over here, Stevens Point, a little bit of rain. Maybe further north, maybe none. And somewhere in that, somebody else got a little sprinkle, somebody didn't. The teams, so these teams were shifting their games from Friday to Thursday, and I really can't comprehend it. Now, a couple of explanations I got was, well, we're saving our field because they played on grass, right? We're saving our field because we think we're going to host a playoff game in the following week. That's fine. But of those 30, Dan, about half of them played on turf. So what's the reason? I can't understand it. I guess I'm just not that smart.
1 extra day of rest for the playoffs.
Huh. So what that tells me is by next year we'll be playing on Tuesday and Monday, and we want an extra day of rest for our Week 7 game, and I don't know. I don't get it sometimes, but that's not my job to get it.
I will say at my house in Wausau, almost 1.5 inches of rain, which is quite a bit of rain, but it's been slow and steady all day. It hasn't been torrential downpours, and obviously the athletic directors have tough decisions to make because they're getting calls from parents and interested parties, I would say, on, hey, do you know that the weather's coming in? And then they have to put their meteorology hat on and try to figure it out and make snap decisions within 24 hours, and they do the best they can. I'm
not even sure where they got their meteorology hat from, but apparently they all have one now. All have one now. Okay, so we advertised on X and maybe some other places, but we advertised on X about doing some map drawing today. And later tonight, and the maps at the association over Crossroad Commons area, the maps are already on the wall over there. There's no doubt about it. And on computer screens that are circling the boardroom table over there inside the football room. Tom Shafransky likely in there. Maybe not some others, though, that may be arriving late. They had state tennis today, the association. So some of those folks are dispatched down to Madison, Nielsen Tennis Center. But no doubt they've got their maps and they're getting ready, and they've probably already plugged some numbers in, some here and some there. But we're going to give you kind of an advance look at some of those maps, and let's do one right now.
I heard there was some controversy on the maps.
Well, there's always going to be controversy on the maps because there's a lack of understanding. I'll
be honest, I don't understand it completely. Like I understand kind of how it works, but man, it really feels like it's a judgment call on some of these lines and where they go. So I'm interested. I have my my student cap on.
Okay. Well, I'm not sure that I'll be teaching anything, but we're going to find out here. Takes me just a minute here.
The speakers outside, they're a hit. People are watching us. Waving to people outside. Waving back. Hello.
Hello. Welcome to Zaleski Sports tonight. And Security Health Plans Red Zone channel. Okay, map. Here we go. So we're going to, what I'm showing folks here, Dan, I'm just trying to get this picture organized here a little bit. And
just blend us into the red of the red zone.
Is that possible to do? Maybe it is. We'll hide us in the corner. There we go.
Yeah, there you go.
So I propose. I was running X this week, for the most part anyway, and so we proposed Division II and a case study in Division II because I think it's really interesting, and I think it's going to bear out that way. And it's the one thing when I see the brackets tomorrow morning, it's the first thing I'm going to go to. Because it's going to teach me. If I don't know something, this will kind of link the final piece in the chain for me. Go ahead.
So before you really get into this,
yeah,
I know that you put a lot of time and effort into this when you were in Hawaii.
I did.
So
that's what you do over there.
So Jason took all of the basketball sectional breakdowns, and he mapped them all out. So that's 8 groups of 5 divisions, so like 40, maybe 36.
10 maps, so 40.
Yeah.
40 different groups.
Yeah.
10 maps.
And he painstakingly in Hawaii now.
Yeah. Beautiful weather.
Put the little pins on the map, did everything he could. It's hard to even know where some of these schools are if you're not familiar with them. And he figured out how the WIAA drew these lines. And
I think I did. Yeah. I think so. And a little simpler probably when you're able to do it ahead of time, because in basketball, when every team makes the playoffs, you're able to kind of draw just one line north-south, another one east-west, and then you just got to maneuver them just a little bit just so you get in equal, 16 teams in Division 5. And so a little bit simpler.
So this isn't just made up. This is something that has at least some research into. A dozen hours at least probably in trying to figure this out.
Yeah,
right?
More than that. Probably 50 or so.
Yeah. I mean, that's how I would spend my Hawaiian vacation, is looking at boys and girls basketball sectional breakdowns.
It was beautiful weather.
Yeah.
Beautiful weather in Hawaii. Always, too, right?
In June or something, I think it was. May or June or...
So, and so with football now, Dan, I mean, we've, as a company, have spent hundreds of hours on the whole process. And what we're looking at now is Division II. And the case study is this. And I'm going to put some seed scores on here momentarily. On Facebook, Zaleski Sports. If you're watching on X, that's great. If you're watching on YouTube, that's great. The comments I'm looking at are on Facebook, Zaleski Sports, on our main Facebook page, so Facebook, Zaleski Sports. So if you've got some feedback or you've got some questions, that's the chat box I'm looking at, because I can only look at one at a time. And I can barely even look at that one. But we will take your questions, and please fire them off, because here we go. So the case study is this. We've got Kaukauna, who has finished their season. They beat Appleton East last night, and they finished their season. They are 8-1. They have got a very good strength of schedule. Their opponents that are on the schedule, all cumulative, have an above 500 record, and the opponents that they've beat have an above 500 record. So their non-conference schedule was pretty good. It's just 2 games. Yep. But the Fox Valley Association all played well in their non-conference games, and then because you're always going to share losses in conference. So, but if all members of your conference have good non-con schedules, it all fits in, right? And especially if they beat their non-conference teams. So if your conference mates won in weeks 1 and 2, you're going to have a big advantage. So anyway, so Kaukauna, all the teams that they played. Cumulative are above 500 on the season, and then their defeated opponents, the cumulative score, is also above 500. So everybody's got in both those categories, a cumulative winning record. They did play a team or two that were below 500, but cumulative, added up. The case study is Kettle Moraine. Now, of course, everybody's, Kettle Moraine, that's a really good football team. Yeah, they probably are. Kettle Moraine, they're undefeated. Well, they are. It's true. Their first game of the year, they played a team now that is 1-7.
Yep.
And that strength of schedule score then begins to that's an albatross hanging on their strength of schedule, which the formula cares a lot about. Yes, they are 8-0. Yes, they are Kettle Moraine. Yes, they won the state tournament last year. Nobody will dispute any of those things. You also cannot dispute the math that shows Kaukauna overall seed score being just a bit higher than Kettle Moraine's. And when we're looking at this map here, and I'll bring this up.
Now, this was before last night's game, though.
Well,
because Kaukauna played last place team yesterday.
Yep. But I recalculated their score, and it's still higher. And we played it out with Kettle Moraine winning today. Now they're playing the number one team in the state tonight.
They are.
Kettle Moraine is
in Division 1.
In Division 1. Win or lose, our math doesn't show them eclipsing Kaukauna tonight. They might be able to trim the margin a bit, but it's not going to be enough. So on this map, Kaukauna is school number 9. So you see them just in that Green Bay area.
Towards Green Bay, yeah.
Green Bay area. I don't know if they can see my mouse on the screen. Maybe they can.
Let's see.
Yeah, take a look. Sure.
Yeah,
Sure. You can see the mouse.
Yep.
Okay, so right here, number 9 is Kaukauna. Number 10 is Kettle Moraine. The way that the map looks right now, to me, they are in that same group. And that puts Kettle Moraine as the 2 seed and Kaukauna as the 1. My theory and my case study is totally thrown out the window if tonight the map makers over by Crossroad Commons draw that line somewhere else. Then I'll never get to know the case study.
No, I will say that if Kettle Moraine wins, they would be considered undefeated conference champs, and they might move them. Because that is something that the WIA says that they could do.
So, right. And so we call that the hand of God.
Yep, the hand of God.
The hand of God comes in on the map and ignores all rules in the room and deliberately moves a team to somewhere else to maybe balance it out. Perhaps in an adjacent area of the map, the map makers consider those just a bunch of average teams over there.
Like maybe 10 for 31. Who knows?
Well, could be.
I don't know what school that is, but
could be. Well, I'm glad you asked, Dan, because it's about time I put these names and numbers up there. So let's take a look at that. And it turns out I have all that information. How about that, huh?
Yeah, you seem to know the answers to the questions that I'm going to ask anyway.
Okay.
In general.
I hope so. I do hope so. All right, let's see here. So we'll do one of those. Again, this is all happening live, folks. You get to enjoy it. Zaleski Sports VIPs have had some of this information. This will be the only map that we show folks tonight, Dan. We're not going to show any other maps. I gotta mute some of my screens here. Hang on.
Someone's talking about Altoona.
Yeah, and I know who that is. It's our friend Bob Bradovich talking about Altoona. And yeah, folks at home can't hear that, but folks on the street can. Yeah, it is. Look at the rain in Altoona just drifting across the screen. That looks pretty cool to me. All right, enough about cool, though. Okay, so I think, Dan, we're just going to have to take us just about out of the way here. We're going to just see our heads. Okay, so there we go.
They don't want to see us anyway.
Probably not. Hope everybody's enjoying it. I don't have any questions yet, so I'm just going to keep talking. So you asked. So Team 31 is Brookfield East. So let's see. I'm going to have to got to do some more maneuvering here on my own screen. Oh boy, but then people probably can't see that. Let's do it like this.
Yeah, and Team 31 was not the 31st best seed score team. That was just based on enrollment. The 31st largest Division II team.
In that particular group. Yep. There we go. Okay, yeah, so Brookfield East with a pathetic seed score. Just say that.
Okay.
So, yeah, but this is kind of the case study, right? This is what we're looking at today, is to who, if you were to redesign that map, how would we go about redesigning it? And that's what people want to know. Like, okay, you got to send Kettle Moraine out of there. So let's maybe think about some things here. So make sure I'm not covering up any teams over here. I think I was covering one or two of them. So we've got 3 teams in the western part of the state, right? So we've got New Richmond, River Falls, and Menominee. Okay, so they're always going to be in that group that's in the Northwest.
Some good teams in there.
Yeah, some very nice teams. A lot of people have a favorable opinion about Menominee, for example.
And New Richmond, for sure.
And New Richmond. Sorry, I forgot about New Richmond. New Richmond will be on the coach's show tomorrow.
Nice.
As a matter of fact.
Very good.
Yeah. Thanks for the reminder. And then team number 11 in the middle of the state, of course, that's Marshfield. We believe that they are in. With a win tonight against Hortonville, they are guaranteed to be in. That would be the 4th win on the season for a group of Tigers that I kind of gave up on during the season.
You kind of did.
Yeah, those are my guys. Anyway, I digress. Team 14 is Holman, and Team 18 is Pulaski. So let's redraw the map, Dan. Let's see if we can do it. Okay, everybody gets to see this real time here, and this is somewhat the exercise that the folks, again, over at the Crossroad Commons location of the association headquarters get to. This is what they're going to do all night tonight. Is I'm screwing up our other TVs here. Okay, so let's redraw. So, but before we do that, we got to think of travel. All right, we got to consider that somewhat. I know the association takes some heat for teams driving past each other on the way to their playoff game. So we'll have to think about that as we redraw. But if we're thinking that Kettle Moraine and Kaukauna would be separated, so that's kind of the premise here. So what would it take to separate those teams? Okay, so you need to find a different group of 8. Now, Dan, you had already kind of laid out one. So let's take a peek at that. So let's say, so that map line came here, right? And then the hand of God comes in, and it moves Brookfield east, right? It picks up the whole city and drops it over there, right? So it's an idea. Automatically, though, because of the seed score, you bring an 8 seed into this other group, right? So you're trading the best team in the group for the worst team in the group is essentially what you're doing. But maybe that's what it takes. Okay, so we've got Sun Prairie East, and let me get myself.
You have so many windows.
Oh, I'm telling you. Yeah. This is my life, though. This is my life. See, these others keep popping up on me. I don't want that to happen. Okay. So you've got Team 1, Sun Prairie East. This is beginning to look a lot like that other show from a couple of years ago where they're staring at screens and not looking at the camera.
Oh, you're looking at the seed scores, okay?
I am looking at the seed score. So we're trying to make some sense of this, right?
Yep.
Okay. So Sun Prairie East, a seed score of 594. Okay. So just to kind of keep that in mind, let's just see if this kind of bears out. Is what the exercise we're going through here. DeForest with a seed score of .498.
Worse.
Yeah. School 19 is Monona Grove, 521. Team number 3 is Wanakee, and .7, almost .71. So we're going to put the screeching brakes on now.
Yeah.
Right? Because now we moved Kettle Moraine from a group with Kaukauna, a very strong team, and then we put them with the best seed score in Division 2. So that would defeat the purpose then, wouldn't it? Of moving them for the sake of moving them to level out some other playing field?
Is Wanakee undefeated?
Yeah.
Yeah, then they probably shouldn't go there either. Maybe.
So you see this becomes rather difficult.
So maybe they put Kakani west.
Okay, so let's go through that. So the hand of God is going to put...
Kakana, not Kakani.
Yeah. I got what you were saying. Well, you were thinking of Shiloh. Right?
I was.
Shiloh's so cute. Shiloh was on the run last night, did a great job. And unlike the game we went to last week, Dan, the back judge caught the ball last night. Back judge fumbled in our game.
He did.
Okay, so we put Brookfield East back. We picked up the whole city now and put it back into Milwaukee County, if that's the county that it's in. Okay, so now we're going to attempt to move Kaukauna outside of its group. Now, you might say that's an easier thing to accomplish because we've got a group of 5 teams all right near that boundary.
Yeah.
Okay, so that might be a little bit easier to accomplish.
Also,
Yep, go ahead.
there is a 4th group on here that's the Milwaukee schools.
Yeah, sorry. Okay, so folks, right over here, these are the Milwaukee City schools. They're not moving them anywhere.
No.
They're not going anywhere, and they're just out of this conversation. It would be highly, highly unusual, I think, to move those city schools out. You could put Tosa West into this other group, and you bring Kettle Moraine in, and
maybe
you could. All right, I'm not saying you shouldn't. You certainly could, but the result of that is going to be pretty much the same, right? We're going to say Kettle Moraine is automatically
the best team
in the level 4 because there are not even equals or comparisons. There's nobody even close, right? So then you're essentially gifting Kettle Moraine a level 4 game. I don't know if that's what they want to be involved in. I don't know. It's an option.
Yeah.
It's an option. I don't know if that's – and again, so make sure you watch tomorrow's football coaches playoff preview show at 3 o'clock. Football Commissioner Tom Shafransky will be on the show. These questions that we're just kind of tossing around here, he's going to answer tomorrow.
Although, hold on a second.
Okay.
So
hold the train.
So Kaukauna is not an undefeated conference champion.
They are a conference champion with 1 loss.
Yeah, so they wouldn't move them for Kaukauna.
Okay, we don't think.
Probably.
We don't think. Again, every question that you and I asked today are going to be peppered at Shafransky tomorrow and find out. And he's a really good dude. He's going to answer the questions. Look at Auburndale. Rain, just sheets of rain.
Look at the flag in Rosholt.
In Rosholt. I mean, it is treacherous conditions outside. And Dan and I are here. We're on Main Street in Stevens Point. By the way, across the street, if you don't mind, we've got 2 fish fries at 8 o'clock to pick up if you're okay with making. Now, I know you said it's kind of spooky out there.
It is a little spooky.
So if you'd rather tag me and I go, that's fine. You can make that call at 7:55. Okay, but let's move Kaukauna now. So we attempted to move Kettle Moraine and really couldn't find a reason to move Kettle Moraine, right? We attempted. And you'd said, okay, well, not undefeated, so probably not going to move. Well, let's just take a peek at a couple others. I got to get all my windows out of the way again. Dan loves all these windows. Okay, so Team 18 is Pulaski, and Pulaski a seed score of 430. So
towards the bottom,
middle, yeah. Hortonville, Team 12. Hortonville still got a game to play tonight. Seed score of 502. So. And maybe in this year's football field, maybe that's a good seed score, really. Better than average, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay. Team 24 is West De Pere. Seed score a little more respectable, 566. Team 32, Ashwaubenon, a seed score of 362. So we move, let's just say they were to, again, Hand of God comes in, they pick up the whole city of Kaukauna, and they put it over there, and, let's just say they move Hortonville over there, just for the sake of the map. At some point now, you're going to be asking one of these 3 teams over here to travel the entire state to play Kaukauna in a level 3 game. If Kaukauna wins their first 2. So
that's a 3.5 hour trip.
I'd like to be in the room when that bus is ordered by the athletic director of those 3, and then after he hangs up from the bus company, a lot of words are going to fly about having to send his team at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the afternoon on a school day next week to go play a football game.
Yeah, but they can't get away from it on the map, right? Because you got the 3 western schools. You have the ones down by La Crosse, it looks like.
Yeah, yep.
Kind of facing the same thing. Okay. It's just the way that the schools are. I don't know.
Yeah. So this is why I chose these schools, this division, as our case study, because I want people out there to see the thought process and to hear it and understand that the folks at the association tonight are going to be, their gears are going to be grinding. Smoke is going to be rolling because this is not easy, folks.
Yeah.
This is all these considerations are what they're going through in an attempt to get it as right as possible. And with most of it having to do with the seed score, right? They're not in the business of projecting wins and losses in the playoffs. They're going by just the pure math and then attempting to satisfy some travel concerns and then still attempting to eliminate having, 2 conference and 2 undefeated conference champions playing in a level 2 game or something like that. It's a lot to go over.
Yeah, and I mean, as it stood right there, it looks like Pulaski might have to go to New Richmond maybe or something next.
Correct.
Next
Yeah,
Friday.
yeah. We've got New Richmond as a 1, and so right off the bat, you may have to make that trip.
Or Marshfield.
3.5 hours on the bus.
I don't know what the numbers are, but
yeah, so we're talking about things here. People are getting a free look here, and that's fine. It will save you the $5 for Division 2. You want to see the rest of them? ZaleskiSports.com. Click VIP. It's $5 a month. It's not. It's hardly anything. You'll lose more than $5 this weekend just walking down the street. Quarters will pop out of your pocket, and this is money well spent. The $5. You get to have these types of information. So we've got Marshfield as the 7 in that group, and Pulaski as the 8. So I mean they're both going to be driving, and there's nothing you can do about that because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You need 3 more teams to compete with these Western teams, right? And because you need 3, there's 4 here in Madison. So who do you leave behind in Madison if you were to shift that way? And you would still have Madison having to drive all the way to what did we say that was? New Richmond.
Yeah.
So in Division 2, these are some long treks that are going to have to be made anyway.
Yeah, I mean it's almost 2 hours from Pulaski to Wausau, another hour and a half at least over to New Richmond.
Yeah. You and I made that drive 2 years ago.
Yeah, it's a long trip.
It is, and we were in a car.
Yeah, that's true.
That goes faster than a bus. Quite a bit.
Or a group of buses, probably.
Yeah, right. Yeah, schools like these are 2 or 3 buses for sure. 2 for sure, just with the team, and maybe 1 more with some of the other stuff. But so, Dan, I thank you for letting me just kind of ramble on here for a while, and I wanted to give folks a look at how this all works, and it's difficult.
Yeah, and there's a lot of assumptions that go into making maps and releasing them a week early because there could be upsets. There could be people or teams that lose that we didn't project to lose, and maybe that changes the seed score a little bit. And we don't necessarily know for sure what the playoff field is because you have to qualify and there's tiebreakers. And if there's a unexpected win, maybe somebody sneaks in, and then all the enrollment happens in a way that the team's moved down one. You have a new team in there or something, right? And then the whole map changes because there's a number gone, and maybe there's another number in the top left.
Can I give you an example of that from last night?
Yeah.
Elk Mound came in with 2 wins last night.
Okay.
Neilsville-Granton already in the playoffs. They already had their 4th win. Playoff team lost. Elk Mound won. Now Elk Mound is on 3.
Okay.
Another bubble team. Another, you play musical chairs in that way. Probably coming into the night, and again, this was on Wednesday. We were going through this. I forgot some of it already because we're talking about 224 teams.
Yep.
But probably coming into last night, there were likely something like 10 teams and 8 spots. And you figure, okay, Elk Mound only 2 wins on the year. Neilsville-Granton already has qualified for the playoffs, so they were probably 5-2, whatever it was. So 5-2 and 2-5. I kind of know who's going to win this game, and then Elk Mound gets the win. And now now there are 9 teams vying for those, or 11 teams vying for 8 spots, and now the tiebreakers are coming in. And I need to know more about tiebreakers. I know the rules are out there for that, but the seed scores are also out there. So I wonder if someday in the near future the tiebreakers don't become the seed scores.
Yeah, but the conferences are so
interesting, isn't it?
So apples to oranges. Right?
Yeah, I don't want to muddy the waters. I probably shouldn't have said that, but that last part. But again, the maps are a key ingredient. I mean, they are how the playoff field is set in the end. That is the final step. Sorting out the teams based on their geographical location in the state. And as you all just saw for the last 15 minutes, tough work.
Yeah.
Tough work.
So let's talk about seed score a little bit.
Okay.
Like we're not going to get into the math of it because it is kind of a secret sauce that we have figured out.
Yep.
But I know that there's a lot of people peppering peppering us on social media and text messages
Thanks
about
for the reminder. Yep, you're
about,
all right.
hey, your seed score doesn't really match some of these other rating systems that are out there that are showing that my team is a lot better off than what you guys are saying. And all that I could really say to that is anybody can create their own ranking system, right?
Sure.
And there's some really smart people. Massey is an extremely smart guy, and for what he does, he's really good at it. And his bread and butter is with college sports, right?
Yeah.
The Massey Ratings Index, really good for college basketball. Vegas uses it to determine money lines and lines on games. That's how accurate it is. And yeah, you can use that rating index to rank high school football teams, but that is not what the WIAA uses. They're never going to take a rating system that takes margin of victory into account for obvious reasons. We don't want teams to beat up other teams by 50 points because you get a bonus out of it. Nobody wins in that situation.
Just think of how that would look.
It'd be terrible.
Just think of it.
It'd be so stupid. So what we can say is that this rating system was very, very accurate in basketball. I think 99% of the seeds were right on or something, right?
Yeah.
And the ones that were off were because of like thousandths of a percentage point or something.
Correct. Yeah. Crazy margins. Crazy thin margins on a couple of them.
Yep. So we are pretty confident that this formula is going to work with football. It worked last year when we went back and compared them. So I think that the ratings that we have, we're obviously gonna stand by them. We'd be really shocked if there were any changes, and if it were, it'd be maybe one seed line at the most, I would say. So if you do have a curiosity, which a lot of people do, I do.
Yeah, you should, right? It's all part of the fun of this.
Then go to the VIP section and you will see the projections of the entire football field.
Yep.
I don't want to say the entire bracket because we don't know what regions play each other or whatever, but for each of the group of 8, they are on there with their seed, projected seed.
And the 8 player.
And the 8 player, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we don't leave any child behind. Not around here.
The weather is awful in Auburndale right now. Look at this. The punter just fell down, kicking the ball. Fell on his back.
That's awesome, and I feel sorry for that kid. But, coming into this, I was on the drive over here today, Dan, and, I played in some mud games, and there's nothing better for me now at age 48 than watching a 16, 17, or even an NFL team, because they get those sometimes, just playing in slop. It's so much fun to watch because I've been that kid on the ground before.
Yeah. The officials hate life right now. I was talking to Paul Draglinski, friend of the show. Yeah. He was not looking forward to officiating tonight.
Sometimes I'm not sure what he looks forward to.
Basketball.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, sometimes cross country. Sometimes.
Colby with a 25-yard run. I have a feeling that we're going to see Colby with a lot of 20-yard runs tonight.
Okay.
Assumption's up 6-0 on Rosholt. Assumption needs the win tonight.
Make one or two more changes here. There we go. I don't know that this is how I've always had this thing set up, but for tonight, this is how it's going to look. Red Zone Channel, sponsored by Security Health Plan. Promises kept, plain and simple. We take a look at Hortonville at Marshfield, Westby at Altoona, and the last game I put up there, Manawa at Amherst. So let's go through the playoff implications first, and I'll get back to the Manawa-Amherst game and why that makes sense. Dan's exactly right. Assumption, it would take an upset for Rosholt to beat the Assumption Royals, even though they come in with just the handful of wins. But Dan's exactly right. A win for Assumption tonight puts them on 4 and permanently qualifies them into the playoffs. If they were to lose to Rosholt, it would be embarrassing. I still think that they're in. I still think they'd be in at 3 and 4.
Assumption went with pink socks tonight.
Seed score particularly low. It's breast cancer awareness month. Save the Tatas.
Yeah.
We were at the pink game. I took the poster down. Dan and I were at the pink volleyball game a couple weeks ago. Crazy fun at East West. We were at West. But
I was there last night.
You were. Were they wearing pink again?
No.
Man, that was a lot of pink. Everything was pink in the gym. It was crazy. Setting the stage here. So Assumption win, and they are permanently in the playoffs. I don't have the game as part of our trio, just because I'm not sure of the competitiveness and the quality of that game. Rochelle had some tough times. Hortonville at Marshfield. A Marshfield win, and they reach 4 wins, and they are in the playoffs. Hortonville already locked in. We think Marshfield, win or lose, is in. Win or lose, we think they're the 7 seed. Again, you can see that whole bracket at ZaleskiSports.com. Just click VIP.
Who's in Auburndale tonight?
The Crew?
Yeah.
Joe Anderson and Garrett Short. Now, the internet is always problematic there. The hotspot signal is with a driving rainstorm.
I love it. You see it coming on sheets.
So, yeah, I see the clock is not quite good, but they're probably doing everything they can just to hang on to an internet signal right now, and doing a good job moving the camera. But I mean, what a look at high school football.
It's true.
You know, if you want to accompany hey Weston, thanks for watching. If you want to accompany this show with another football game, as of now, we're recommending Colby at Auburndale just for the sheer look on the screen of it.
Give it another hour. That field is going to be in rough shape.
Torrential. So I talked about the teams, the schools that had moved their games from Friday to Thursday that play in a grass field with the mud, with the dirt, but now mud underneath, and wanted to save the field for a home playoff game. Auburndale's a 2-seed gang.
Yeah.
And they're playing on the field today. So I can't understand why these teams were moving their games. It's beyond my comprehension. And then on the fourth game, we have Manawa at Amherst. Now Amherst is locked into the playoffs. Manawa has been eliminated from the playoffs. So why in the world do we have that game on the screen?
Oh, I think I know.
Yeah, I bet you do. So last year, if folks remember, Amherst coming into Week 9 had become they were ruled ineligible. They had vacated all of their wins prior to Week 2 or something like that. So they had to vacate all the wins up to that point.
Up to Week 7 or 8 or something.
Well, up through Week 8.
Yeah.
And then the Week 9 game was a game that they beat Stratford. So they had 1 win on the year last year, but they really had 7.
Yep.
But they had 1 recordable win. You look through the annals of football, and it'll show just the 1 win. And legend has it that it was 2 weeks prior. It was the Manawa Wolves that had ratted them out to the association, and they found a player that was ineligible. He had played too many years of varsity sports into that season, and so they went to the court, and the court upheld the rule. It is a rule. They violated the rule. Payback tonight is what I'm being told. It's what I'm being told.
Okay.
So it's on the screen for now. We'll see if Amherst puts up a big score. Amherst says they had no trouble scoring the ball this year, Dan. They have had trouble keeping the score down on the other side.
Yeah,
big trouble on defense.
Yeah, they've had some high-scoring games this year. But, I mean, you know, when you look back at it, and those kids know that they won 7 games last year, right? Yeah. And everybody knows it. And yeah, I mean, officially in the record book, it's going to say 2-7 or whatever they ended up being.
Yeah,
right?
1-8. Mm-hmm.
But it's like the NCAA who take down a banner, right? Because somebody wasn't eligible. It's like, yeah, you didn't technically win it, but everybody knows you won it.
Yeah, Reggie Bush had to give his Heisman back.
Yeah, he won the Heisman.
He won the Heisman that year.
He's trying to get it back too.
Well, because of the revelations about Mr. Manziel down in West Texas and everything that happened there, he admitted to all of it, and he's still allowed to keep his Heisman. So something's got to give there. He's got to give his back, or Reggie's got to get his, because that doesn't add up. You seen the documentary? I
haven't seen it, but I have. I have read all about it.
Well, I think it was pretty widely known that the vast,
shocking
piles of cash that Manziel was accruing. But he believes he's on the right side of it because now the kids are getting piles of cash. So he thinks he's on the right side of it. Reggie's on the right side of it. He should get the Heisman back.
Colby went down and scored in Auburndale.
Okay, so right down the field they went. Again, both of those teams are in the playoffs. 2 ranked teams in not in the same division, but 2 ranked teams playing there in Auburndale. Again, we've got Auburndale as a 2 seed next week in the playoffs, and they're going to. I guess for the logic I was given about the grass fields, they're going to play on just nothing but dirt next week, because that's the logic I was given about why teams had to play last night. Otherwise, they would have to play on dirt.
So we didn't see the extra point attempt because it was off the camera.
Yeah.
But it looked like it was a snap, and the ball never got there.
Oh, okay. Because the ball never showed up on the screen.
It never came up.
Yeah, ball never showed up on the screen. Yeah.
So we missed maybe a kicker falling.
Maybe something where the ball just squirting along in the grass somewhere. Yeah, so with the internet issues in Auburndale, if you're watching or curious about that, the scoreboard runs through the network, and so I can tell you already that you're just going to have to turn up the volume, and you'll have to hear Joe tell you the score in time, because with the internet issues in Auburndale and the scoreboard runs through the network, that's going to be a problem all night. Get that solved.
What's the score of the Marshfield game? 0-0?
You had to ask, didn't you?
Well, Marshfield's not really known to put up a lot of points.
No, they are not. They have been challenged offensively all year long. But they're leading 7-0. Hey, I've always said my Tigers are good this year.
You have been on the bandwagon.
The whole time. Trouble. I was rooting, really rooting for them the first 3 or 4 weeks, and I still root for them, but I was in here cheering and doing things that a fan does. I stopped doing that after week 3 or 4.
Oh, the old screenplay by Roshold. Oh, snuffed out.
Yeah, got him 3 yards. You figure that's going to get more. What do you think of the Hornets jerseys there? Gray, black, and yellow. It's a Hornet color scheme, like an actual Hornet. Yeah, right. But
like the gray, I don't like.
Yeah. After that, just go all black, right?
What if it's a yellow top with black pants?
Yeah. Put a little pizzazz in it.
Black numbers, maybe.
Put a little pizzazz on it. I agree with all that.
It's really interesting that a lot of teams nowadays have many jerseys. They have the home and away, and they have the special home ones, whether it's pink or whatever for volleyball. Mm-hmm. I remember we had 2. None else. We had a white and we had a black.
Yeah, I've been told by many teams they have 1. Yeah.
Roshold might wear that every night.
Maybe I'm thinking of baseball, but I'll just call out a couple. Amherst baseball has just 1, and I know this because I was really complaining. Amherst and Auburndale, I think we're in a playoff baseball game, and so I'm watching it, and both teams have blue tops and white pants on the field at the same time. And I think I was told both because they both just have the 1 setup. Yeah, my Marshfield Tigers football squad they've got 3 color combos. It hasn't helped them win a whole lot of games this year. But again, they got a chance at winning their 4th game, though. With all the troubles they've had, a chance at winning 4. They're winning right now. Auburndale, a bit of a passing team tonight in the rain. Gosh, look at that rain just flying through.
It's not that far from here.
It's only about 15 miles from here.
Hello.
Hey, guys. Thanks for watching. So 6-0 Rosholt. Colby leads 6-0 over Auburndale. We're just going to have to memorize that score.
We think.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. And I know the crew there will take a shot at that scoreboard at halftime.
Auburndale might have scored, actually.
You think so, huh?
Yeah, I think I saw them kick off. Maybe that was Assumption kicking off. I don't remember.
Again, both teams are in the play. It's not part of our presentation tonight anyway. Amherst Manawa scoreless through the first quarter, so whatever that payback was, it didn't materialize in the first quarter. That's what I was told by those folks over there. Altoona leads 6-0. Again, for Altoona, a win puts them at 4 and automatically qualifies for the playoffs. Should they lose, Dan, I don't think they're in. I think the tiebreakers have the best of them. So
so why is that game on the network? Because that's a little bit an oddball, isn't it?
Altoona? Well, we've got our Eau Claire-based crew.
Okay.
And so with the playoff qualifying game for in that area, that's the one that we went to. Memorial and North each not making the playoffs, so they're out. Chip was out for a different reason. And but Altoona, we're
a different reason.
Yeah, Altoona, friends of the show over in Altoona.
Yeah, okay.
Big fans of the Rails. At football, they've got the flashing crossing lights that you find at the railroad. Yeah, they got that going on over there. It's a really cool scene. They had a flyover in week 1 at Altoona.
Oh, right.
A helicopter, I think, is what it was. I'm not sure of what kind. It wasn't a Black Hawk or something like that. But they do it big over in Altoona. I'm a big fan of the Rails, and that helped the decision. But again, they win, and they've got a decent chance. They're leading now. Decent chance against Westby. But a win, Altoona's in the playoffs. So we'll show that one just for that very reason. And why we chose it for this channel as well.
So, what do you think about the idea that the WIA takes only the 4 and 3 teams or better, and if it doesn't fill up the bracket, it doesn't fill it up?
Yeah, then you get a 1 bye or something like that.
Yeah.
Yep. I really like that idea because I'm a merit based type of thinker, and for me, you've earned that right if you're an above 500 team in your conference. And the playoff field continues to get watered down with a number of teams changing their format from 11 to 8. So that's happened over the last 5 years, dramatically over the last 5 years. And so, but what hasn't changed is the 224 teams that are allowed in the playoffs. That part has stayed the same. So now quite a bit more. I think it's like 61% of the teams are in the playoffs, and that's too many. It's too many because what we're going to see next week, Dan, in level 1 is 70-0. You're going to find those scores all over the state next week. The 1, 2, and 3 seed.
Looks like it's 6-0 on the scoreboard there in Auburndale.
All right, just keep that in mind. First quarter, 2-ish minutes left. Yeah, you got the scoreboard on just the west side of the field, so it's the only time we get to see.
It might be controversial, but what if we drop a division? What if we have 6 divisions?
Well, and that would solve it, okay? Because, again, we'd have 32 less teams, and I think that would get us closer to 50% at that point. Assumption touchdown, they lead 12-0 on their way to the playoffs at Rosholt tonight. A win for the Royals, and they are in. Yeah, that would make a lot of sense to me.
And maybe add more 8-man teams.
You could. You know, that 8-man field, just 3 rounds. So you add another round to the 8-player format, and that becomes a little more robust. And then you take your playoff field down to 196 or 198. 198. Do I have that right?
224 minus 32?
Yeah.
192?
Okay, whatever.
Well, whatever it is.
That's too much for me today. Too much. But, yeah, that would be a good number, I think. We'd be closer to 50% on the 11-player format, and then you certainly could make a change on at the same time on the 8-player, get a few more teams, get a full 4 rounds of playoffs, and have it parallel to the 11-player playoff season, and everything's right in the world at that point, I think.
Yeah, I mean...
It's years from now if it were to happen, but because it hasn't even been proposed yet.
Yeah. It's just...
Blocked extra point, Rosholt.
You probably shouldn't be kicking extra points tonight.
That's a good point, pun intended.
We haven't seen one made yet on these 2 games we're watching. But we're going to have some 3 and 6 playoff teams.
Yeah, many.
Yeah.
Many. And the way that this is all trending, next year or the year after, we could have our first 7-2 playoff team.
2 and 7.
Or 2 and 7, sorry.
Yeah.
We'll have 7 and 2s.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we could, the way it's trending, right? You get about 10 or 12 more, and those are possible. 10 or 12 more teams leaving 11-player for some other format, and 2 and 7 is right around the corner.
Yeah.
And that's not a merit-based system.
Yeah, I mean, think about some of these.
Todd, thanks for watching.
Some of these schools that are 3 and 6, they're going to be going on the road and playing a 9-0 team that is ranked in the top couple in the entire state.
Yeah.
Like it's going to be as much as they want to win by. Right?
They get to choose the score.
Yeah.
Yep. You will score none, and they can score whatever they'd like to score. Yeah, and that becomes disheartening. Disheartening for the fans, disheartening for the families, disheartening for the kids. And on the bus ride next week on Friday, the 8s, the 7s, and some of the 6s on the bus ride over there, they know they're being led to the slaughter. They know that. I mean, they're smart kids.
Yep.
They know exactly what's happening. They watch Zaleski Sports. There we go. Now we got the scoreboards coming around here in Auburndale. I knew it would. Talented crew over there tonight. But, and that's, we're doing this for the kids. And that's, I think, something that seriously needs to be looked at because it's not a good experience for those kids. It's just not a good experience. Speaking of good experiences, a couple of years ago, the association said, okay, for teams that don't qualify for the playoffs, you will. If you'd like to host your own game, you can play an extra game. So already reports of those games being assembled right now. And good for those kids. That's not the same thing as getting beat 70-0, right? If your team, and I would assume some of those coaches are having a team meeting with a vote. Would you like to play another game? And so some of those games are happening. Or are beginning to get scheduled. And so those are interesting. We won't be involved in any of those. We've got our hands full with the playoffs, but it's something that maybe a lot of people don't know about. So that's what part of the show is about, to just help people understand what's happening in the world of high school sports.
It reminds me of the dark days of the fall of 2020.
Thank you exactly what I want to talk about next. It is. So go ahead.
When there was no playoffs, they had spring football that some of the teams – it was split, right? But there was no official playoff, and so the teams would set up their own like little bracket of 4 teams or whatever it was, and like an unofficial state championship, whatever.
Yeah, the 11 players, I know for sure they were I guess instructed, maybe is the word, to just go ahead and play 2 more games. Yeah. They weren't necessarily bracketed, but just go ahead and play 2 more games if you want. Most did, some didn't, and the ones that didn't.
Oh.
All right,
touchdown Auburndale.
Yeah, Auburndale, nice 12-yard touchdown pass.
Sloppy fields really do favor the receiver because they know where they're going.
Yeah, they're making that cut, and you're on your back pedal on ice.
Yep.
So they were the teams that didn't continue on in that way back in 2020. Were the teams? I think of Edgar that year. They believe that they had a
monster team.
Yeah, not once in a generation because every couple of years Edgar's got the team. Yeah. The weather games are awesome.
Yeah, the extra point was 5 yards short and 10 yards wide.
If it was that close. Yeah. So the teams that didn't continue on in 2020 to play those the exhibition games. Were the teams that they just wanted to forget about that season. Yeah. I'm so done with this. I'm moving on. And for Edgar, they moved on to basketball where they were a state team. So for them, a good decision, I suppose, in that way. The other thing I wanted to talk about, since you brought up 2020, it was something I wanted to mention earlier, but I'm thanking you for reminding me now. I got a team in pink down here, Dan. I think we've got Westby in pink tops down on the top right on your screen at home.
Tata Awareness Month.
Tata, save the Tatas. This is the 4th year for football that the seeding process has happened, or this will be the 4th time. And so back to my map drawing class from about an hour ago, people should realize that too. Some of the keyboard warriors on X and Facebook and social media just call it, it's ridiculous. They don't know what they're doing. Okay, well, if it was ridiculous and they didn't know what they do, they should be ashamed if that's the outcome. If it was ridiculous and they didn't know what they were doing and they should be ashamed of it, they wouldn't have carried on with it for a 4th year. Yeah. The system's working. The system is working. And it's working because we have eliminated this idea that somehow 8 coaches are going to gather in a room and get it right. They got it wrong more often than not. This system is getting it right more often than not.
Yeah, I mean we talked Wednesday about
ad nauseum
about how ridiculous it is. But even when we were in high school, you qualified for the playoffs, and there was no seeding, there was no coaches meeting. They just came up with a bracket that said, you know what, these are the teams closest to you. Whoever's best comes out of it. It doesn't matter what your record is. You have 2 9-0 teams. Well, shouldn't be next to each other. I mean, that's what it was.
Pick up your school and take it over there.
Yeah.
No, you're right. It was a very simplistic format, and so we think of the progressions, right? So as more teams were out into the playoffs, okay, well, we're now assuming the coaches know, and they don't, by and large. So, okay, So then what happened, folks, is, and I think this is where people misunderstand it too, the coaches got together and decided we want this to be mathematically solved. We don't want to do it anymore because we know we aren't getting it right. The coaches asked for this process. And so this is year number 4. 2020, it was behind the scenes. They did a test run on it, and they liked the way that it looked. But they did the seed process, but of course there was no, what do they call that, tournament series. There was no culminating event that year. But they went through the process. They liked it. They liked the look and feel of it, and the war game that they went through that year.
Assumption's trying to kick again.
Much better that time. That was a laser through the uprights. Yeah. Celebrating like they won the Super Bowl, making a kick in a driving rainstorm.
19-0. Assumption.
Yeah, well on their way to the playoffs.
First quarter still. Yeah.
Well on their way. It's shameful. It's ridiculous. It's stupid. They don't know what they're doing. They know exactly what they're doing.
It's really strange to me too, because the football numbers as they come out, I don't think teams can really argue too much unless it's a 4-5 thing, right? Basketball, people get upset because there's teams of 16. It's a long season. Why are we a 3? Why aren't we a 2? We beat the other team we beat them both times this year. We've seen that. We've seen teams get upset because they play a really tough schedule and they're an 11 seed or whatever, and they win 3 games, right? Mm-hmm. They're probably underseeded, but everybody understands what the process is, how the seeding works. And like, people are going to get upset about anything and everything, especially especially anonymously online. Right?
Especially the keyboard warriors, and and people are frustrated sometimes, just in life in general, when they can't see behind the curtain. Yeah. Right? And that's the case here. Now, we're able to peek behind the curtain, and that's why we give you these things on the VIP on the website. But that's a source of frustration when they can't see behind the curtain too, and I get that. But when you make comments out of hand, you have no idea what you're talking about. Save it.
Yeah.
Save it.
And even on the basketball coaches show last year, just extremely upset with the seed.
A couple of the coaches were.
But we told them what their seed was going to be ahead of time. We told them you're going to be this seed. Yeah. They said, no, that's not possible. We're like, okay, well. Yep. And then they got it, and they're like, yeah, you were right, but we're still upset about it. I get it. I'm just telling you, we're just giving you data, right?
Yeah, well, it's funny, Dan, that part of it. And this happened with football, too. We did our football coaches preview shows back in August. And those coaches there said, hey, I owe you an apology because last year I got on you, and you were exactly right. And the same thing with the basketball coaches. A couple weeks after they were eliminated and they had kind of got over the loss of the season, one by one they called me, or if they saw me around wherever I was, hey, I just want to tell you, good job. You do know what you're talking about. Yeah. Yeah, well, and all we do is report on the math.
There is no favoritism in this on our end at all.
I really don't care who wins and loses. I really don't.
Well,
except for the Tigers.
Yeah, you care.
Except for the Marshfield Tigers.
It is still a driving rainstorm in Auburndale. It has not let up.
Why is that? Because in Rothschild it looks fairly dry. I don't really see rain out. Studio lights are on, so I can't see a whole lot.
I don't see the puddles.
I don't see windshield wipers going on Main Street here, but in Auburndale, just 15 miles to our west, it is just pouring rain. Pouring rain. They brought out the chain gang is in full orange rubber cloaks on the field, attempting to stay dry tonight. The Auburndale kids, the football players, are in full hooded parkas. Colby is not. I guess they're just a little more hardy in Colby. It's further north, so that's why. I saw some of the kids on the side. They've got trash bags on.
They do
on the Colby side.
Yeah, well, they have to have kids with footballs.
Do they have a football under the plastic trash bag?
Ball boys.
They might. It's great. Well, look at the orange hooded crew with the chains walking around. This is why we're indoors.
They are definitely earning their $20, whatever they get for a game.
Yeah, 15 and a hot dog probably.
You know what? We were on the sidelines last Friday in Kaukauna, and to be that close to the field, you don't have to pay me. Like, I'll sit there with the chain all night.
Oh yeah, it's fun. It's fun being out. I told you a couple times that it's what I miss the most. as my career and this experience has evolved, is not being able to be on the sideline, especially of a football game. I really do miss that every now and then. And I think, I know we're trying to get to Edgar for the Fire next week.
Yes, we should.
Okay.
It's supposed to be kind of a nice weekend next weekend, I hear.
But I've also got an opportunity, and not to say you could tag along if you want, or maybe we set you up with your own, but there's an idea that I might be on the sidelines with the camera doing highlights next week too. So we'll see how it all kind of shakes out. We are 15 minutes to fish.
Okay.
Okay. So we're getting taking it from a new place today. Not a sponsor.
Is it from the Pabst Blue Ribbon sign over there?
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, I thought that was a good place. You want some beer battered fish, you go where the beer sign is.
Yeah.
So we're going across the street here at Main Street. Not a sponsor, so we won't say the name. And with those folks, I don't want them to be a sponsor. I think they're kind of rude. I do. You'll see what you get when you go over there. But I don't have a very good opinion of. So I won't even let them. I forbid it. I do.
We don't want your money.
Yeah, I don't. Not theirs. But we're going to give them some. Maybe it'll help mend the fences for me. Maybe it'll smooth the waters for me, and I'll have a different opinion of the folks over there. Yeah, we're neighbors. We should. There should be something more going on with the neighbors. So, okay, let's see here. Other scores. So, Amherst 14-0, Dan. They have dialed it up.
That Amherst field is nice. I like that.
Westby's in the white, so Altoona's in the pink. Westby leads 14-6, so Altoona's season in the second quarter, but on the brink. And in Marshfield, it is just a blur with the rain. So the situation there is...
Auburndale's by Marshfield, though.
It is. And so the situation in Marshfield tonight, the way the wind is blowing, if the windows were open, they would just be pelted with rain all night. So they got to keep the windows closed, and there's all kinds of problems for a camera. But otherwise, there'd be no broadcast because everything would short circuit. They get electrocuted if they left the window open tonight. Tom King on the call in Marshfield tonight, by the way.
Okay.
Yep. Mike Wendlandt is in Rosholt. Bob Radovich is in Altoona. Jack Rozicki is in Amherst. And Joe Anderson is in Colby. We didn't even we were so into these brackets. Hey, Kurt, thanks for watching. Who else? Yep, just Kurt, new one on the block there. Didn't even go through the broadcast schedule tonight. We were so ramped up into the map. It was a good exercise, though. I think it was well worth it. And if you didn't see it, rewind it back to the beginning of this broadcast and educate yourself. I give a 20-minute lesson on the map making that the seed makers and really the bracket makers will go through over in Stevens Point later tonight. Appleton West is at Stevens Point. Cale Jacoby on the call. Wausau West at DC Everest. Sorry, let's back that up. Appleton West at Stevens Point. Jack Weber on the call. Wausau West at DC Everest. Cale Jacoby is on the call. And those are the 7 games tonight.
West Everest is going to be a good game. Spash should take care of business, trying to close out an undefeated conference season, right?
DC Everest leads Wausau West 10-0. Second quarter of action. Hey, guys, thanks for being in the neighborhood. Appleton West at Spash, 22-0, Stevens Point. No surprise there, right?
They would be undefeated, right?
They would be an undefeated conference champ, and we know the Spash Panthers are a 1 seed in the bracket.
They would be 8-1, and the one loss.
Yeah, undefeated in conference, right?
Yeah, and they beat Hudson.
Yeah.
Which seemed like a huge thing back then, but maybe not.
Yep. They just lost. The only loss was Muskego, right?
Muskego, yeah.
It's the only loss, and that's a top team in Division
loss.
1.
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. And that strength of schedule score held up, too. Let's see. I said Kettle Moraine is at somebody tonight.
Muskego or Muskego.
It's one of them, right? And I think they've played them back-to-back, and they beat whoever it was, obviously, last week. I'm going to see if I can find a live video feed. How about that, Dan? Would that be sufficient, do you think?
I'll also look.
Okay, well, you look there. I'm going to give a marathon Edgar score. That was a game we were scheduled to be at tonight. But unfortunately, no facilities in Marathon, so we would have been out in the driving rainstorm, and poor Tom and Rachel would have shriveled up and rolled down the hill. 44-0 at the end of the third quarter. Edgar all over Marathon. They started at 6.
Okay.
So 44-0 to start the fourth quarter, and that game will be done in exactly 12 minutes.
Exactly.
Yep.
And they'll be out of the huddle in 40 minutes.
Yeah, right. Yeah, they'll be out of the huddle by the time the rest of the games are ending. My goodness. Yeah, it is quite a display the coaches put on there in Edgar. Quite a display.
But the pitching a shutout again.
Yeah.
Trying to get the undefeated, unscored upon
conference season for those games. Yep. Somebody says Colby Auburndale game clock not running on YouTube. I replied back, true.
Yeah,
we've already described why it's not.
I'm not paying $9 to watch this Muskego game.
Is that what they want?
Buy a ticket, $9.
Just a game. Yeah, what a scam. Just a game. They can go jump off a cliff over there.
Yeah, imagine having something like this on Zaleski Sports and you click on it and it's $9.
Just a gut punch. A gut punch, right? We're talking about high school sports here, gang. This is not getting in the octagon for 4 hours and somebody Rodriguez and somebody Johnson, the big fight at 10 o'clock tonight. This is high school football. Why are people having to pay to watch? Stupid. Just a game. Stupid.
Yeah.
I feel confident saying that.
I
hope it came off that way because I am confident about it. Yeah, there's got to be somebody reporting it on the Musk X Twitter
I'm looking.
machine. 7-7 Marshfield Hortonville, and they still have 7 minutes left in the second quarter. Quite a bit. And let's see here, Dan. We're gonna give a live thank you here to somebody. How does that sound?
I like it.
All right. Because I appreciate good people. And the thank you is going to go to... Oh, hold on. That was the end of the day report. Well, let's see here. We're going to do a few. While you're looking up that scores, Dan is attempting to find Kettle Moraine and... What did we say the opponent was?
Muskego.
Okay.
Number 1 against number 1 in the state.
Yeah. Division 2, Division 1.
Coaches poll.
Yep. Max Bus, thank you. VIP. Max is a VIP. How about that? Matt Peck, thank you. Matt is a VIP.
0-0 after 1.
Sounds like a good...
Travis Wilson is at the game.
Time. Yep. T-Dub. That's what we call him. Stacy, VIP, thank you. Maybe I shouldn't be saying the last names. I don't know. Jordan, thank you, VIP.
A promising Kettle Moraine opening drive is stymied at the 29-yard line, and a field goal attempt misses badly. Good reporting.
Dick, VIP, thank you. Dominic, VIP, thank you. Bennett, Zaleski Sports VIP. You the man, Bennett, and Keith. Those are just in the last hour or two.
It's the Kettle Moraine lasers?
Yeah, that sounds right. Mm-hmm.
I like it.
Yeah, a laser.
Yeah.
You think about that, right? A laser can destroy anything.
Pretty much.
And from a long ways away.
Yeah.
Especially if it's one of the big ones. That is a big-time menacing machine, a laser. And that football team is a big-time menacing machine. They are really good.
This rate is still not letting up in Auburndale. It hasn't
wild,
slowed down
isn't it?
at all.
That is just wild.
It is not raining here at the studio.
I don't see rain.
There's somebody on a bike out here.
Yeah, we got a Christmas bike coming through.
Yeah.
Or a Marathon Red Raider bike. It's all red out there.
Hey.
Nice bike, fella. Nice bike. We like how you're rolling.
He gave us the thumbs up.
Did he?
Yeah.
Super. Was that a motorcycle?
I don't know.
There was some kind of contraption on the back of it. I don't know either what it was. Jeff and Travis. Travis, got to relax, man. They are hanging on for dear life in Auburndale with the internet situation. And you will just need to fill in some blanks on your own.
It is 6-6.
Yeah.
Probably like 4 or 5 minutes left in the first half.
Yeah. All you got to do, gang, is just, and I know you're trying to listen to us too, and I apologize about the whole thing. If you're interested in Auburndale Colby, put us on mute, and you can come back and watch this later, right? About 10 o'clock, you can come back and watch this. Ball boy just doinked a Colby guy in the helmet. Turn Turn up Joe. Joe is really good at saying the score and the time. So just turn up Joe. Turn us off. That's my advice if you're trying to catch Auburndale. I can see they're working on it. They are attempting. It looks like the rain may be slowing though in Auburndale.
You have to wait for the.
You have to wait for the lights.
Yeah, for the light.
And those lights that shoot upward, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The other thing that works against us in Auburndale too. Now they've got a press box, which is good, but the windows are 30% windows. They only comes 30% down or 30% up, and then look at that. Never mind. It's still a big monsoon in Auburndale.
Unless it's smoke or something, but I don't know.
No,
it must be.
No, that's rain.
Yeah.
So yeah, you've
I
got
love it.
The cameras in an awkward spot, and then you put the internet troubles on top of it, and it's just a problem.
I have officiated there. It's actually a pretty nice field.
Yeah, I quite enjoy it there. We at Sawyer Creek, that's what we call the estate, Sawyer Creek. You've been there a couple times.
Yep.
We've got the Starlink. We're all Elon around my parts, and we've got the Starlink, and we were without internet for almost the entire day because the satellite. When the clouds are as thick and then all the rain coming down and all the interference in that way, and there is no doubt that that's the same thing in Auburndale because the mobile hotspot in Auburndale is suspect just coming in. That's just the way the cell towers are over there, and then you get all that moisture in the air interfering with that signal. Rachel actually had to go in the office today to work because no internet, and she was rather upset about it. I don't think she's worked in the office in like 4 years, maybe 5. She's very upset today leaving the house. Very upset.
Well, yeah, because you have to. I mean, she does a good job of getting dolled up and dressed up, whether she's working at home or not. But it's different going into the office.
Yeah, and there are others that do work in the office. So yeah, you've got to put on a face for them, and
yeah, you have to be really friendly. Clothes
have to be of a certain look, I guess.
I work from home.
Yeah.
And the once a year where I spend a week or two in San Antonio.
Yeah.
You go in the office and it's really nice to see people, but they just won't stop talking to you.
Isn't that annoying?
It really is.
Yeah.
And you're not used to it, right? You're not used to just the small chit chat, walk by the desk, hey, how you doing? How are your dogs? How's it going in Wisconsin? Like, I have work to do.
Yeah, right. You going to dinner tonight somewhere?
Yeah. What are you doing for lunch? I don't know. It's 10:30. I don't know. I just got back from breakfast because somebody wanted to go to breakfast.
Well, that's what the office crew does, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of somehow how they get through the day.
Yeah, and at the end of the week, I said, who does the work at this company? Because ain't nobody in this office working. They're like, oh, there's people working from home who do the work. I'm like, yeah, we do.
That's right. Yeah, you're lifting all the weight.
Yeah,
pretty much. All right, we turned our bottom TV to DC Everest, Wausau West. You can too. There are no playoff implications here.
Well, it's halftime,
and it's just now halftime. So perfect timing on my part. Lots of umbrellas, lots of plastic suits, and a lot of empty bleachers.
It has been raining all day in Wausau.
Yeah. Yeah, what a day today, huh? What a day.
I don't know if it was bad enough to take games back a day, but
I just don't see the outcome of it. I don't understand. If you're telling me your grass field is in such shape that playing one football game a week before the next one is going to make it unplayable, I think you got bigger issues than just worrying about some rain on a day. And again, all the schools across the state that did it with a turf field.
Well, you know what that is, right? That's the athletic director saying, I don't want to stand out in it. I don't want my people to stand out in it. Let's just do it today.
All right.
I can
accept that answer. I can accept that answer.
If they were honest about it, because what else is the reason?
I can also accept the answer that I wanted a 3-day weekend, and I'm going to use the weather to get it. I accept the answer. But to tell me about playing conditions today might be bad because it's on turf. I mean, we play football in weather.
Yeah.
So that was the answer I was given, and that one doesn't match up at all.
We don't want the band to be out in the rain. Okay.
Okay, well, the band is just going to take a night off. That's the way it's going to work. So 19-0, Assumption continues to lead in the second quarter over Rosholt. 7-7, Marshfield, Hortonville. We are at halftime, Manawa Amherst, and so I'll catch you up on the score there. And Westby has taken a 20-6 lead at Altoona. Their playoff live, still first half, but kind of like on Back to the Future, their picture is starting to fade a bit, just a bit. And this is the Red Zone channel presented by Security Health Plan. Promises kept, plain and simple. Find out more at securityhealth.org after the show.
I think it was in shorts.
Okay. I had a meeting at a different school today, and we were for some reason talking about shorts. It came up, and I said, and you know this already, my personal policy is I wear shorts from the start of the Brewer season until they have concluded their season, which meant I was all pants as of the last 8 days.
Yeah.
And now look at the Diamondbacks. Look at them go.
So, yes, all the teams that won 90 or more games.
Yeah.
They're all gone. They went
out.
They went 1-15.
Out. Who had the one win? Atlanta?
Yeah.
Must have been.
Think
about that. The Braves were unstoppable. You couldn't get within 5 runs of the Braves all season.
Yeah.
And now they're at home. And I believe it's Orlando Arcia's fault.
It probably is.
The way things happen. Well, he made some comments that got out into the public about Bryce Harper.
Attaboy.
Harper didn't like that. And then he was just chastised last night from the fans behind the dugout. And
it was Acuna, wasn't it?
Well, no. He was trying to get Arcia out of that conversation.
Okay.
He was like, "No, man, we got a baseball game to play." But they were saying it in Spanish.
Yeah.
And baseball, that's Spanish. The rest of it, I'm not sure of. But yeah, Arcia couldn't help himself, and he turned to get it to verbally confront the fans, and the wheels just came off for Atlanta.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw the celebration.
Yeah, I did.
I had it on, and they had T-shirts with it, right? They had T-shirts that said "Attaboy Harper" or whatever. People, like all of them underneath their jerseys, wore it. And then you saw Harper with his shirt off in the locker room. Dude is just chiseled, right? I mean,
oh yeah, he's a
really
specimen.
Is. And they're doing the arm up in the air thing, like that's a thing that they do, just getting doused with beer, champagne. Great. I'm going to go get food.
Yeah, Nicole watching. Paul? Coach Miklig was watching. Newman not playing tonight? Maybe it was somebody here. Hey, hold on. You got to take this with you. Newman not playing tonight? Yeah, I don't know. Or somebody using Coach's user ID checked into to the Red Zone channel. Dan's going to go grab some fish, and we're gonna enjoy some fish here during halftime. Hopefully you got some snacks at home to keep yourself entertained. Hey, Renee, thanks for watching. You should be at the Rosholt game right now, Renee. Maybe you are, and you're just checking in right now. If you're not, less than 2 minutes left, and Assumption leads your Hornets 19-0. But always good to see Renee's name pop up on the screen. And you just missed a Hornet 30-yard pass play. Renee, get down to the field. Quick, go now. Halftime just about all over the network right now. Again, you're watching the Security Health Plan Red Zone. Promises kept, plain and simple. Find out more at securityhealth.org today. Big day tomorrow here in this studio. It'll be myself and Dan back at it tomorrow. 3 o'clock. Make sure you tune in. Coaches football playoff preview show. We got football coaches from all over the state going to be calling in and telling us about their playoff seed and their playoff outlook. So make sure to just put it right on your phone. Add a little calendar reminder. Zaleski Sports, 3 p.m. on Saturday. There's a good chance your favorite coach is going to be on here. They're calling in all the way from western Wisconsin, Milwaukee, southern part, a lot of central Wisconsin coaches, eastern Fox Valley. We got a lot of coaches calling in. All the fun starts at 3 o'clock. We're also joined by special guest WIAA football commissioner Tom Shafransky. And Tom's going to tell us about maps and the seed process and the whole works. So we're really looking forward to that show tomorrow. It'll be worth your time, especially those of you that are a little bit confused about the seed process and the map process. You're going to want to tune into that because it's all going to be explained tomorrow. As a matter of fact, if you later tonight rewind the show to the beginning, in the first 20 minutes we show you a map and we help show you how the map is drawn. Along with some seed scores on our Division II case study. So that all happened at the beginning of the show. If you want to, you can just rewind it back right now, watch that 20 minutes, and then catch up And then put some comments on the Facebook feed. I know this is coming out on many different platforms, but Zaleski Sports on Facebook is where we're keeping track of the comments. So if you've got a question or comment about the map class that we gave during the first 20 minutes, just go ahead and watch that. And then halftime will be over, and then come back and ask the questions. So we've had some good questions over really all week, and we will answer any question that you ask for sure. About football seating and football maps or high school sports in general. Why not? Volleyball playoffs begin on Tuesday. Soccer playoffs begin on Tuesday. State tennis champions will be crowned tomorrow. That's Saturday. Congratulations to Pacelli's Natalie Cooper and Assumption's Addie Vollert and Sarah Shaw for making the state singles and doubles tournament this year. Highlights of their matches are on Facebook, Zaleski Sports Stevens Point and Zaleski Sports Wisconsin Rapids right now. So you can check those out, plus more highlights coming. Steve is on his way back, if he's not back already. And was there as the Assumption Royal tennis duo of Vollert and Shaw bowed out earlier this afternoon. But congratulations on making it to state. Not very many get to make state. So tennis champions tomorrow. And then again, volleyball and soccer playoffs begin on Tuesday. Football playoffs begin a little less than a week from now, next week Friday, unless they throw a Thursday game at us. And I guess the way things go around here, who knows? Maybe. Somebody could find a reason that it's going to be 50 degrees and we got to play a game on Thursday. I don't know. So 19-0 Assumption over Rochelle. That's one of the last games here before halftime. So we take a look around. It looks like Marshall's still got about 2 minutes left. I got it live. Still 7-7. Hortonville is in the playoffs with 4 wins. Hortonville 7, Marshfield 7. Hortonville has already cemented their spot in the Division II playoffs, and Marshfield with a win will clinch a playoff spot. Our math shows that Marshfield is in win or lose, and our math shows that Marshfield is a 7 seed in Division II, win or lose. Which would mean at this point they would play River Falls. Boy, you know what? The brackets are on ZaleskiSports.com. Just click VIP. I got you. 224 teams, gang. Trying to memorize all of them is a mission impossible. But Marshfield, the 7 seed for sure, though. Win or lose. Just, you'd like to maybe go in with a win. Hortonville would too, though. And again, they're locked up 7-7. In Marshfield right now, just about 2 minutes left before halftime. Dave watching from Bowler. There's Steve watching now. Again, Steve's got tennis highlights coming, I think, tomorrow afternoon. Show the last tennis match of the season for Assumption, the Assumption doubles duo of Vollert and Shaw. And on screen, halftime's all over the place right now. We're watching, episode 8. I think of Hard Knocks, Edgar Football Hard Knocks, episode 8 airing right now. You can watch that at your leisure on YouTube and Facebook, or you just turn me off and go check out Hard Knocks right now. What a great series it's been this year too. Edgar Football letting us in to see all the behind the scenes in the locker room, at practice, at halftime, on the bus, back from road games, and the kids showing what they do during the school day on game day. So one of the student athletes from Edgar today carried our camera around school all day, and we package it up and do a neat and tidy 20-minute show for you to see what it's like for 1 week of football with the Edgar Wildcats, including one special student athlete. You get to have a glimpse into their life on game day. So you wake up at 5 in the morning, eat your breakfast, maybe get a workout in, go to school. After and you go through all the rigors of school. After school is done, then you go to practice. Practice is done. You go home, get a meal, get your homework done, and maybe, just maybe, you got a half hour left at the end of the day to calm down and relax, and the next morning you do it all over again. So the life of a student-athlete included in these Hard Knocks episodes, and a must-watch for sure. If you've not seen our Hard Knocks series, go out to, again, 8 episodes to choose from. Looks like Brett Baumgartner, the featured student-athlete from episode 8. Key member of that Edgar football team for sure. And as Dan had mentioned before he took off, Edgar looking to go unscored upon through conference play. And that game may be done. Let's take a look here. They started at 6 over in Marathon. Don't know why. But started at 6 over in Marathon. I guess let's just get this done with. Oh, let's see. Dave had a question here. Sorry, Dave. Hang on. Wants to know about Wittenberg-Burnhamwood. Hang on, Dave. I'll look up that Wittenberg-Burnhamwood seed. And again, you can find it right now if you're a Zaleski Sports VIP. You can just go look it up. Edgar does end the regular season shutting out the entire Merrillwood Conference by beating Marathon 40-0. Again, Edgar hasn't had a score put on them since the first quarter in week 2. That's how long it's been. All season long, if I have my math right, Edgar has only given up 13 points the entire season. And all those points came in the non-conference schedule. All right. Dave is, let's see here, Dave. Hang on. I think if I click this, yep, they'll get to see the scores anyway. Okay, Wittenberg-Burnhamwood. That's okay. They can see behind the curtain here a little bit. Wittenberg in Division 5, right, gang? Team number 20 in Division 5. There we go. Okay, let's see what that ended up being here. We're going to answer. I said I'll answer any question. I'll even give you the answer on something that most people pay for, but that's all right. We're here to satisfy today. A lot of VIPs out there too. Thank you, one and all. Again, I read off a list of them that had signed up just in the last couple hours. Had to be about 12 of them just in the last couple hours. Everybody's gearing up for the football playoffs again. The seeds are cemented later tonight. As a matter of fact, they'll be revealed at 10 a.m. tomorrow, but they are cemented tonight over at the WIAA headquarters, just on the other side of town. All right, Dave, let's see what we got here. Wittenberg-Burnhamwood. I would say probably a 3. That's my, off the top of my head, knowledge about it. 2. So Wittenberg-Burnhamwood 2, we have them hosting St. Croix Falls. Dave, thanks for watching tonight. Again, I said I'd answer any question high school sports related, so I'd open myself up for that. And again, my name's Jason Zaleski. Dan Ross usually sits right here. But he's out. He's getting our dinner right now across the street, and no surprise to me. Again, I'm not a fan of this place, and so no surprise to me. It's taken quite a while. We were told they'd have it ready about 15 minutes ago, and unfortunately, he's still standing over there. So not surprised at all. Just not a fan of that joint. But we're gonna. I'm attempting to hit the reset button with these folks, giving it my best shot, and they've got a. They've got an inside track at getting back to square one with me if the food is good tonight. That I'm willing to forgive. Absolutely. Okay, I see a third quarter about to be underway in Amherst. The home Falcons leading the Manawa Wolves 14-0. Amherst about set to kick off. I think, aside from the games that started at 6, this will be our first game coming back into the second quarter. So Amherst kicking off 14-0. I was told this was going to be a revenge game, that Amherst may be able to really pile on the points tonight. They have a sour taste in their mouth about Manawa, but 14-0 is not running up the score. So I'll congratulate the Wolves on keeping it close, right? Uh-oh, here he comes. Back in the door. He's got a brown bag full of good food, I hope. Thanks. All right. Well, so first, again, I was just telling the folks here about the place across the street. I'm willing to hit the reset button, get back to square one if the food is good. I'm willing to forgive. How was just the inside the door experience? Let's just start there.
Busy.
Pull the microphone a little closer.
Busy.
Okay. Well, good for them.
Our food wasn't done.
Okay, so fresh then. They were just
It's very fresh.
making it fresh. I can appreciate that. What
also,
else?
you can hear our broadcast in the whole neighborhood over here.
Super. That's what I want.
It's fantastic.
Yeah. Well, I told Dan as he walked in the door into the studio that, of course, I waited till the last week of the studio show to put the speakers out there. People, I think, thank you. People, I think, would have enjoyed that earlier. They were because people are always walking by waving to us.
Yeah,
And,
when we could see him. Now we can't see him.
We can't see him anymore.
Well, it looks good.
It's off to a good start, isn't it?
It really is.
Again, it's a good night.
We are going to need fuel because we're going to be up late figuring out playoff teams and brackets. And
It's a good chance we're here till midnight tonight, gang. It's a very good chance. Yeah.
Stop by, have some beverages with us.
Yeah, please. And you can come on in right now. It's BYOB, but come in right now. Why not? We had fish, what was it, maybe week 3 or something? And it was pretty good there, too.
Good. And they are a sponsor, just not of that night.
Yeah, that changed, too. Probably why they never answered me that day on my offer. Probably.
If you were a business owner and one of the places that you advertise with, even if it's off and on, say, hey, can we trade you some food for us pumping up your business all night long? Like, the answer to that's always yes.
Should be, but the other place could never muster up an answer.
Yeah, we still haven't heard back.
No, still no response. The only thing that changed is they decided that high school sports wasn't for them just overall. So maybe good. They say that the trash lets itself out sometimes. So that may have been what happened there.
Yeah.
First bite, it's good.
Yeah.
First bite, it is good.
I mean, 2 fish fries, what, $20?
Something like
20,
that.
25,
yeah,
whatever.
that's about the going rate these days.
Yeah. So for $20, you can talk about your restaurant the entire night. And then weeks after that, probably, because we're talking about it now.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, without exaggerating, we can probably sell you 30 more fish fries.
Yeah.
For giving us 2. Got the Ray Lewis dance here from number 57. I don't know who that is. Watching Hard Knocks up top.
Yeah.
How does he even know who Ray Lewis is?
He killed a guy.
So they say on the street.
I always tell people that because they're like, Ray Lewis is one of the best of all time. He killed a guy.
He did, and before the Super Bowl in Atlanta. Mm-hmm. What was that, about 98, 97, 99, somewhere in there?
Yeah, something right in there.
Well, yeah, because then the Ravens came back and they won a Super Bowl in 2000. Mm-hmm. And then all was forgiven, apparently. Mm-hmm. If you kill somebody, just win the Super Bowl, and then it's okay.
He's in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, you get to be in the Hall of Fame. He had a friend that was there the night that took the fall for him.
Yeah.
Yep. And then the court bared that out.
I mean, we don't really. I mean, who knows what really happened? But like everybody who followed, it's like, yeah, this guy killed a guy.
I'm sure next you want to tell me that OJ is innocent.
I will not say that. He was found innocent and guilty.
Or Ted Bundy's a good dude. Yeah. Jeffrey Dahmer, misunderstood.
I misunderstood why he did what he did, but
there was the Netflix series on him. If you didn't see that, see it.
It's disturbing.
Yeah, did you see it? Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is disturbing, isn't it? According to the documentary, he had a neighbor that the police just wouldn't believe her of what was happening next door. Like, she called 18 times, the cops. And finally, the very last time is what it took. It was like for a couple of years. She was alerting the authorities that there's screaming and there's bodily fluid and there's other stuff happening in there. And the police are like, probably not. Probably not. Lover's quarrel is what the police always said was the reason.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, you don't know what's going on behind closed doors, but if people are screaming and people are going in and not coming out, like, something's happening.
We carry on like this because it's halftime across most of the game, so not a whole lot to tell you. A couple of the games come back, but no scores. to report from those games that are in the second half.
Are you surprised about Everest leading West?
No, because the big horse, Ray Reinick, the running back for West, I believe is still out. So
I think so.
He's such a big key to that team. What I am a little bit shocked to see, and maybe my eyes are just deceiving me, the West sideline looks pretty small. That's one thing that I'm concerned about. I don't recall that being the case. Maybe because of the rain, some of the kids decided to stay home. I didn't think they were that small a team, Dan.
For a Division I team, it's pretty small looking.
Yeah.
For a school of 1,600 kids or whatever it is.
Yep. And about to get bigger at some point in the next 10 years.
That's what they say. I've been following it a little bit.
Is there any traction being picked up as far as the date of the high school combining? So I think from what I've heard, most of the talk right now is about the elementary school or some other pieces of the combination.
Yeah, the elementary schools are moving or have moved. I hear 2025, but I would
for the
guess,
high school. Okay.
Yeah, I would guess 2026, fall 2026. This is how, and this isn't a politics show, but local politics is really polarizing when things aren't really running right.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of things in Wausau that aren't running right as far as like water and like the school thing, and like it's just a whole bunch of things. And like I'm not saying it's anybody's fault or whatever, right? Just staying out of it. But I do know that with the Wausau schools, it just came to light that the science facilities aren't good enough for having both schools, and they went to the board and said we need another $2-3 million, and it was just like we're pretty far into this. like no one raised their hand that this was going to be an issue, that we have to limit what classes kids can take. Like it should be about the kids first and foremost, right? So hopefully they figure it out. I don't know.
Well, what I'll tell you, Dan, more often than not, if you're waiting for the government to help you, you're going to be waiting a long time.
Yep.
More often than not.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of some of those things, right? We're just, we're going to wait and see what the next board meeting says. They're worried about getting elected most times, reelected. All right. So DC Everest on the move. I do like the Wausau West white tops, blue pants. I do like the look of it.
The homes are yellows, I think, or dark blue and
yellow. Yep. Yeah, probably the same pants. They just go to a yellow shirt.
That's what my tax money goes towards, so I'm glad that they are sharing or using the same pants.
This is good. There's a little bit of renewal here with me and the folks over there.
They were nice.
All right.
I was watching ESPN over there, and they're talking. Tomorrow's a really, really interesting day in our country because we have a solar eclipse going across the country tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
And it's right when there's going to be some college football playing. And there are stadiums that are right underneath it. Because it's going from Oregon down across, I guess it would be like Utah, Nevada, New Mexico, Texas. Right through San Antonio. So there's going to be some outdoor games that are affected by this eclipse. They're going to have to turn the lights on, and they're going to be playing in it.
So you probably just got to turn the lights on right away.
Yeah.
Before the game starts and just be prepared for it.
But that's going to be weird. Right? I mean, you probably won't be able to tell it on TV because it's going to stay lit up like we see tonight. But if you're in the stadium, that's going to be a once-in-a-lifetime thing.
Do you think people just stop watching the game for those 10 minutes?
It's going to be 2 hours
20
or
minutes?
something. Yeah. It's, I mean...
Of the total darkness, right?
It's just a couple minutes. Full eclipse is, you're probably right, 10, 20 minutes. Yeah.
So Everest just punted. Right? No, that was an offensive play.
No, they're inside the 10.
Okay. The Evergreens are in the Security Health Plan red zone. Amherst was in the Security Health Plan red zone, and then they scored. So Amherst leads 21-0 now over Manawa.
Promises kept. Plain and simple.
Mm-hmm. Yep. They make them, and then they keep them.
Promises made, kept, and kept. Plain and simple.
Different than renting a car. You know what? I had a really good car rental experience recently. I did. So I don't know what Seinfeld's problem was. Actually, it was the lady he was with. I don't think he made the actual reservation, or maybe he did.
I know you can take the reservation, but can you keep the reservation?
And
Anyone can take the reservation.
Keeping it, and that's the most important part.
Yeah. Dude, would you like the insurance on this car? Absolutely, I'm going to beat the hell out of it.
Yeah, we had a really good car rental experience. They were waiting for me and everything, and wanted to give me a fancier car than what I wanted, and wow. And I thought at the time, like, the place across the street with the fish could really learn from these people. Look at that car! Holy camoly! That car has more lights than aluminum.
It's also 4 feet off the ground somehow.
It's a truck that had lights coming out of everywhere. The wheels, the undercarriage, the back, the front, the top. I mean, holy cow! I don't know what the I don't know why. Just to look cool, and it did.
So let's take 3rd and goal from the 12 for the Evergreens. Field goal doesn't do a whole lot. Makes it a 13-point game instead of 10, but still 2 possessions. West has been offensively challenged the last couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they lost that running back, and they lost their offensive mojo.
Tipped in the back of the end zone.
Incomplete.
Finds the ground.
Yep. Bob Radovich tells us that the Westby Norsemen at halftime lead the Altoona Railroaders 27-6. So the rails, the wheels are coming off for the rails. The rails are coming off.
Do they have 2 wins or 3 wins? Altoona.
Well, let's find out. That is at ZaleskiSports.com. That is just a couple clicks. So conference wins 1, 2. So they got to have it.
Yeah.
Got to have it.
29-yard field goal attempt. Good kicker.
Oh, wait, 1, 2, 3. No, they had 3. But I think the math that we had, they needed to win to get in. They do have 3, though. So they're on the bubble. You know, again, and as Dan said earlier in this show, you know, a win, an unexpected win here or there, and that whole thing does change.
Yeah, and I want to say that the first tiebreaker is the record of the teams that you beat in conference. Mm-hmm. So there's some teams that are going to get surprise wins, maybe, especially if you get an upset win in conference. Tiebreaker-wise, you're in really good shape.
Right.
They don't happen a whole lot in football, honestly. But, yeah, if you're Altoona, you're hoping that one of the 2 teams, or I guess 3 teams that you beat, that they win something unexpectedly tonight.
Tonight, yep. Got to have some help. So Ever settles for the field goal.
Or just take care of it yourself.
Yeah, or mount a second-half comeback.
I heard you talking about Amherst as I was walking across the street.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like they got the pedal down now.
Yeah, a little bit. They're back with the ball. And inside this, just outside the Security Health Plan red zone. Close, though. They're, for a Falcon, they're within scoring distance because Falcons are soaring through the air. They're always kind of in the neighborhood of a score.
I see that Travis Wilson has the home field contest again.
Yeah, I didn't see who was in it though.
They're about to go to the finals. I think the finals are in 2 weeks. But Amherst won that a couple years ago, right?
Just last year, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they won $10,000 on that, and the company that manufactures the turf puts together the contest. It's essentially a $10,000 rebate to one of the schools that it constructed in the last year.
I think now it's $1,000.
Oh, falling on hard times.
Apparently. Well, everybody's getting turf fields, and you need new customers. You need new customers to keep that revenue flow going.
That's the thing with the turf fields, though. Once you manufacture a lot of them, then there's no other business to get. And some schools, they just straight up can't afford it because you need some business benefactors in your town to foot most of that bill.
I don't know what's happening in this Assumption Rushold game, But the officials just threw a flag with Rusholt still in the huddle. They're pushing him back. They didn't even line up. They were just in the huddle.
Too many men in the huddle then, because here comes one guy off.
Oh, yeah. Why is his helmet off?
He's really dejected that the penalty was on him.
It's the first play of the second half. 12 minutes left.
Well, at halftime, he was really excited about the coach's speech, and he's like, I got you, coach. And he ran in the game.
Yeah, but another guy just came in.
Well, maybe it was an equipment. Maybe he went out there. You know what?
It's a 10-yard penalty.
He might have went out without a mouth guard.
10-yard penalty.
Because that's a penalty without the mouth guard. Whatever it was, coach had him all amped up in the locker room. He's like, I'm going to go do it. And then he went on the field and penalty. It's a tough one.
I don't have a lot of experience with Rusholt sports.
Okay.
But it seems like they're falling on hard times a little bit. I did a basketball game of theirs last year when Jaden Nowie almost had a quintuple double. Almost as in...
Almost.
He had a great game.
Great game.
Rusholt,
a one-in-a-career game.
Rusholt didn't look very good that night.
No. I think what's happened over the years is a lot of those Rusholt families perhaps are still living in the district, but the kids are going to Spash or Pacelli or Amherst or what have you. It's probably what's going on there. Because the population hasn't really decreased, not as much as what the outcome of the sporting events have shown. And that you'll find when you're neighboring. You've got a lot of neighbors and a lot of school choices. It just takes one, and then it's kind of a domino.
Yeah.
After that.
With school choice now, where it's getting windy outside, you see the lights.
Here it is.
Blowing.
All right.
I wonder if it's still blowing in Auburndale. Anyway, with school choice, I wonder if the rich get richer in sports because of it.
Yep, I think so.
Yeah. The teams that are perennially good continue to be good.
Yeah, think of the soccer moms, right? You got a 6, 8, 10, 12-year-old, whatever the age might be, but something in elementary school. And you're sitting next to the other mom, and she's got one kid, though, that's already in, say, a sophomore in high school, and talking about how great it is at this other school. And especially after Junior started with, the XYZ team he's in now, man, this is really turned out better than if he would have stayed at our school here. And they hear that talk.
Yeah.
Right? And they're like, well, I want that for my kid too. And so one by one, off they go. And the dads talk too. I mean, not poking fun at the soccer moms, but just drawing just putting that out there.
Yeah.
Giving you a scenario that you might be able to envision.
Well, I mean, in a very realistic scenario here, you have a kid that wants to play football as a sophomore or a freshman. You can go to Rusholt, or you can go to Spash, right? Or you can go to, like you say, Pacelli. Pacelli is not a perennial powerhouse in football, but like any school, like Amherst, right? You go to Amherst, that is known to be very good at football most years, pretty much every year.
Yeah, has been.
Yeah. Why wouldn't you choose to go there? Unless you have a tight friend group or whatever, right? Family, friends, all that. But now that there's the choice, it just feels like the rich get richer and the poor kind of never improve.
Yeah, it's going to get. You're right. It doesn't seem like the trend will reverse, not on its own.
Yeah, not around here. Like rural schools, you get what you get. And that's a whole nother conversation. But
yeah, because so the school choice is the one thing. Now, when you enroll into a different district than your tax bill is paid in, you must provide your own transportation for that child. And so in the rural school, maybe you're not totally impressed with the school of the district you're in, but the next one is an hour drive away, and you're just not able to pull that off. Where just using Rusholt as that case study, you got 15 minutes to Stevens Point, 15 minutes to Amherst. You got some choices, and maybe you work in Stevens Point already, and so you're like, oh, it's no big deal. Just drop my kid off on the way to work.
Yeah.
It's a pretty easy decision.
Yeah.
Dan, I demolished my fish.
The fish is very good. Kudos to the store with the Pabst Blue Ribbon sign across the street.
Yeah, maybe I will dispatch Bill, our Stevens Point area sales rep, back over there and give him another shot. Now, of course, they have to say yes to
it's true.
Bind the whole thing together.
It was pretty busy in there.
So I called at 5:30 with the order, and they said, yeah, it's going to be about 2.5 hours.
Really?
Yep. I said, okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
I mean, we're going to be here all night anyway. So what's the difference? And if it would have been ready early, it would have totally interrupted my map making class. So this worked out because all this really interrupted was halftime. While you were gone, Dave from Bowler had asked about Wittenberg-Burnwood and our seed for the Chargers. And
did you share it with him?
Division 5, yep.
Or did you hold them hostage for $5?
No, because during that whole talk, I told people that I would answer any question they had about high school sports.
I'm guessing they're a 3?
The 2 seed. My guess was a 3 also, but yeah, 2 seed for the Chargers. Dan's watching.
That was just a guess, just knowing kind of the record. And
same number I put. I said 3 also.
Yeah. But 2 seems reasonable also.
Yep. Yeah, we have them hosting St. Croix Falls, I believe is what one of the St. Croix schools. I think it was Falls.
Rather be a 2 than a 3 because then you get 2 home games.
Right. It's a big difference.
Yeah, really is. Roshold is right down to the end zone against Assumption. Assumption has not been able to put this away. They got 19 points in the first 10 minutes of this game and have done 0 since.
Yeah, Roshold scores on the opening possession of the second half.
Yeah.
Dan, watching it, I was concerned at first, but there goes that lit up truck. Look at that. That has got.
I like it.
Like it's glowing.
Yeah, the axles are orange.
Yeah, it's so bright white. It glows everything around it. Whatever that truck is over there, and I think he stopped now to listen to us talk about his truck.
Well, they're blasting music out of that truck.
Oh, well, never mind then. They can't hear me.
High schoolers with way too much money.
Yeah. I was concerned about Dan, who's the play-by-play voice of the Stratford Tigers, watching our show right now, but then it occurred to me his Stratford Tigers played last night, and they easily got past Spencer Columbus. It was one of the teams that said, we've got our grass field, and we don't want to muck it up for next week's playoffs. And I don't think it rained a drop in Stratford last night, so I'm not sure what mess it would have made.
So it looked like Wausau West had a 4th and 18, and
now it's not. Must have been a defensive penalty. No.
Well,
no, Everson on the field offensively now.
Yeah, but it looked like the ball was batted down by midfield. So must have been a pass and batted backwards or something.
So they ruled it a forward pass on 4th down? Okay.
Yeah,
that could be. That could be. We had a tricky one last night in Mosinee. Quarterback was under pressure, and he turned to his outlet in the flat to just unload the ball. His arm was kind of hit at the same time, and it looked like from our perspective, and we were almost right down parallel with, or right down the line with his throwing motion. It looked like a backward pass to us, and Merrill jumped on it. It would have been the 5th turnover of the game, or the 4th. I guess the 4th turnover, the 5th time the ball was on the ground for Mosinee. But they ruled it an incomplete pass, and I talked to the officials during halftime, and I admitted to them, like, there's a lot going on there, right? Hand moving forward, but ball went back, and it's just the referee behind the play, and he, you can't. It wasn't off by much, but, just the interesting and challenging things that the officials have to go through. And so we had the ability of instant replay.
Right.
And they don't. So after a while, I kind of regretted the replay. But again, it's part of sports to have a look at those kind of things. But it was an interesting play last night. It was really close.
Yeah, I know that, it's interesting because I watch a lot of football. We all watch a lot of football.
Mm-hmm.
High school, college, professional. And sometimes these quarterbacks get hit as they throw, and it really does create a, like was it forward, was it not? Sometimes they get hit as they throw, and the ball goes nowhere near anybody. They're like intentional grounding. Like, well, you hit the guy as he threw. Like it's forward, but it's not by anybody. And I feel like the officials have to put some sort of decision, like who was he trying to throw to? Was he really just trying to throw to the sideline? Like, I don't know.
It's a lot to puzzle through.
Instantly,
right? Yeah, you got to make a call in the moment, because if you, as soon as you start thinking about it or pondering it, you got one coach or the other or both shouting at you, or multiple coaches from either side shouting at you. Yeah, Dan said it did rain a little in Stratford last night, but he believes it was a great decision to play last night instead of during the mess today. Again, except I disagree with part of that is football is a all-weather sport. Supposed to be. Or whatever.
it was a quick game in Stratford.
Yeah, the outcome wasn't going to be different.
No.
One night or the other. Matter of fact, they could have played that on the second Tuesday last week, and it still would have been the same outcome.
Stratford is a 1 seed?
They are.
We'll see later on tonight.
And I think an easy one, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, if they're an easy one, then tonight that's not going to matter a whole lot for them. But
no.
Some of these, it's not always the case. Ooh, a little halfback pass? Nope. Something with a big play that just not good defensive pursuit by the Hornets. As a running back, you shouldn't get a pitch, run all the way to the sideline, and then turn around and run all the way to the other sideline and pick up 15, 20 yards.
Yeah, matter of fact, I'm looking up Stratford right now, because now you got me curious. I'm a curious sort.
Yeah, I mean, we did as much as we could project-wise, wins, losses, but a couple upsets and all of a sudden wins that were banked in aren't there for your opponents. But if it's not close, it's not going to be close.
Well, because of geography, they're a clear one. Well, I'll tell you, Dan, clear-ish. Maybe we'll do another case study here. They're the 5th overall seed in Division 6. St. Mary Springs, Kewanee, Darlington, all not near Central and North Central Wisconsin. So you're not likely to be grouped with those 3 that are above you. But there's the Grantsburg Pirates are the number 1 seed in Division 6. Seed score 743, whereas Stratford's score is a 673, so a full 9 points better, which is a lot at the top.
Yeah,
it's a lot from 1 to 5. Let me bring up my map here. Maybe we do another case study for the folks, because this is an interesting one. Let's see. Stratford is team 15 on the map. Let's see see how that lined up. That's not right. Let's see here. Where are they?
Wow.
Yeah, wow is right, huh? Wow is right. Should we throw this up on the screen? We've got kind of a lull in the action here. Let's do another map class. This one will be an abbreviated one, but this is an interesting one.
Yeah,
I think
the lines are interesting at least.
Yeah, they are. It makes it look like I don't know what I'm doing, except that I do. So, okay, well, this is the second map class of the day. First one was at 6:30. This one will come in at 8:30, so 2 hours apart. And welcome to map drawing. Ruin the whole screen there.
Cartography
Cartography at its best.
Cartography 101.
Yeah. All right, we take a look here on the screen. Bring that. It's not going to matter too much where that is. There's no team above. Yeah, that's too far. There's no team north of Grantsburg. So, okay. So we'll bring this back up so you and I can see it a little bit better. So team 22 in the northwest part of the map, that's the Grantsburg Pirates. And they are by far the 1 seed in the entire state. So they are you think of NCAA basketball selection show, right? You got your 4 number 1s, but then your 1 seed, right? Your number 1 overall.
That's the Gonzaga up there.
Right, exactly. Stratford's team 20. I'm sorry. Hold on.
26?
Hold on. Stratford is team 15, sorry. So Stratford's team 15 right here. Okay. This little circle here is Marshfield. I had to draw some waypoints on there so I could have some sort of quick, so I didn't have to look up everything. Anyway, so team 15 is here. So again, is there a different way to draw this map that includes Stratford and Grantsburg? Perhaps there is. So let's...
I don't know, though. 15's a ways away.
It really is. But
yeah,
this is for the purpose of just teaching folks how this all works. So we got to create a new...
Can they see this?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, they're going to see all of it. Let's make sure there.
Yeah, they
get to see it.
Yeah, it would have to be a north-south line.
So, yeah, let's go ahead and draw that line. So again, these are groups of 8 is how this has to work. And I don't think anybody in their right mind could dispute that these have to be 8 right here in the central southwestern part of the state. All right, I'm not sure how else you get away from that. Just because of how tightly in the entire map, those are the tightest packed 8 in that southwestern part of the state. Okay, so I don't think there's any disagreement or argument to be had with those, so we leave them alone. But for the purposes of this map, and we want to say Grantsburg has got to be part of the 8, so for that to happen, you've got to have this dividing line up here. And then this one come all the way down. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You would put a screeching halt on it right there because, we have to include Stratford.
I just don't know how this would work.
But you really, now we're understanding this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're really understanding this and how this process goes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, but that doesn't work because we still have these teams over here to figure out where to go. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you would have to have an eastern line, and then you would have Team 30 and Team 23 on total opposite ends of the map. So again, we just want folks to understand how these maps are created and how we get to where we get to. Because when we're, there could be some, would these, could there be a different line over here? Maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then, then you're bringing these teams down here to play. You're driving a long ways.
What if you take the 3 Madison teams?
Okay.
And the 5 in the southeast?
Okay. So we would draw that line there.
Yeah.
All right. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you would have to go like that. And then you would, I put that in the wrong spot.
Yeah, whoever 20 is would have to get included.
2,
to the right,
3,
maybe.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, yep, you're right. Oh, that becomes a mess, doesn't it? And again, I'm telling you, when the association goes through this, these lines aren't going to be jagged.
No.
All right, they're going to be fairly straight. But there you've got a group of 8 now, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then you've got 27 coming all the way over here. So the only way that works, Dan, I think, again, then Stratford stays where they are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then this comes up here.
Yeah.
So, it's a really oddly shaped group there. And then
you'd have to bring 3 from the west-south, though, for the 5 bottom corner.
So you would go like this. Hope everybody's enjoying this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, and then you go...
Maybe.
Like
that
that.
Doesn't look that ridiculous. Yeah.
That would be... That's the only configuration I can see.
Yeah.
That would include Stratford and Grantsburg and bring Stratford down to the 2. But again, Stratford in conference is an undefeated group, undefeated conference champ in their conference. So is Grantsburg. So that's why we didn't go with this configuration initially.
Yeah, makes sense.
And not only because of that, but just because when we go back to this original formation that we drew on Wednesday. Oh.
Other way.
Now we got all kinds of problems here, Dan.
Yeah, this is the number one question that we have for the WIA official tomorrow.
There we go. Well, here, I'll just leave this up. We're done messing. Yeah. So again, you group up your Western teams because they fit real nice here. There's not, this must be Westby 31. Let's see here. Team number 30 or Luther. Sorry. Yep. Scenic Bluffs, Luther. So they would have the longest drive, potential longest drive. And, 24 over here to 11. That's a pretty long drive. But we really start this process with this being a tight pack group.
Yeah.
And it's an even 8. And then you go about dividing it from there. And you saw what we just did. There are lines all over the place to divide them, to divide these 3 sections differently than what they are now.
Now, of course, someone might make it in, and maybe one of those
Could.
West teams end up being a Northeast team, and it changes everything. Like, who knows?
Yeah, right. So let's just say there was an unexpected loss, and, they're even down here, right? We have this team, and now all of a sudden this team over here in the Madison area is in.
Yep.
Now we've got 9, and now that map. So what would happen there is this line then starts shifting up if that were to happen. And those things can happen. But what we've got is the number 1 seed, Stratford, the number 2 seed, Auburndale, in that particular group in Division 6. So it's this is another interesting case study on Stratford being an undefeated conference champion.
Yeah.
Undefeated in conference. And then 9-0 Grantsburg. And does this line keep those two from being in a level 3 game? I think it does.
At the end of the night, I want you to come up with your best guess, and we'll compare them.
Oh, my. Okay.
Tomorrow. Be like, I understand what you're saying, sir, but look at this map.
So you want me to challenge Tom on his map drawing?
I think we should be nice to him. That's what I think. So that he comes back next year.
I can respectfully challenge him. Tom's going to have answers. And again, so what we're talking about is tomorrow's football coaches show, our football playoff preview show. We're going to have coaches from all over the state call in, including Stratford's Jason Tubbs, call in to the show tomorrow. It all starts at 3 with a special guest appearance from WIAA football commissioner Tom Shafransky, where he's going to answer all of our map questions.
Is he going to be in the studio?
Nope, he will be on the Zoom.
I mean, it's 2 miles away.
I know. Yeah, you would think, right? But he's going to be on the Zoom. They've got some other things going on.
He's going to be
over
really
in the
tired.
building, and probably up. I mean, 2:30 in the morning, maybe 3, depending on how tricky those maps get over there.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to take quite a while to figure out the tiebreakers.
3 or 4 hours after the last score comes in.
Yeah, I know the WIAA usually on Friday nights they will let everybody know who the teams are ahead of the brackets.
Yeah, usually around 11. Between 11 and midnight,
yeah,
they get the full 224 comes in.
And then from there, then they have to do the mapping, and then they do the seed scores. And
you just saw 15 minutes of looking at a map that's already been designed, right? Now, just think, they're coming in from scratch designing all 7 maps, and I mean, it's a 3-4 hour process. And then some debate, and again, some of that debate is Kaukauna and Kettle Moraine, or Grantsburg and Stratford, or we believe, and Tom's going to confirm that tomorrow, but we believe that they're using their abilities to manipulate the map a little bit here and there.
Yeah,
and we'll find out about that tomorrow too. Well, such an interesting process to me. I could talk about this for weeks, months maybe. Again, I occupied Hawaii with the maps.
It's true.
I had some free time, depending on the time of year. I mean, it gets dark there too. There's not much you can do after dark. I'm a beach bum during the day, but the sun goes down, and the beach can kind of wear you out too. The sun and the beach, especially if you're not from Hawaii and you're getting acclimated, and it takes a lot out of you.
Touchdown Warriors.
Wausau West on the board. Under 6 minutes left to play. But make it a one-score game anyway.
Feels like a quick game.
Yeah, 8:50 right now. And so, the time goes quick on the beach, and then, Rachel's, she wants to have her Instagram time, and I'm like, well, what am I going to do? Oh, get the maps.
Yeah, I mean, it would be really interesting to have, we talked about this when we were here sometime this week, Tuesday maybe, of having a state map with all the schools on it that you can just kind of click on and off depending on what you want. It takes time to build that, but you build it once.
Maybe somebody can make one for us.
Yeah. Yeah, if you put all 400 some schools on a map, and if you're able to just check mark and then that shows up on the map, like that would be the way to do it. It would take some effort up front.
Rand McNally. They, I'm sure, have that.
Hello.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching tonight.
She looked cold.
She looked like Gumby. In a good way.
In a good way.
In a good way.
She had a green puffy jacket on.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what it was. No, yeah. So it wasn't the real Gumby. You were telling me.
What's it made out of? Gore-Tex. Everything comes back to Seinfeld.
Yeah, I know, right? That was a big coat, though, that George had. I mean, that was big. That was 3 times his size.
They were double parked by Saddam Hussein. That episode.
That was that episode?
Yep.
Oh, man. Yeah, that was pretty good, huh? That was pretty good.
Because they broke all the wine bottles and he had to give his jacket up to pay for it.
The other thing in Hawaii, I got to meet Saturday Night Live star, somebody in my childhood that I watched. Chris Kattan.
Yeah.
It was right. I mean, so I'm in my chair here on the beach, and he just sat right next to me. Probably he's like, hey, I want to check out that Zaleski guy.
He's one of us.
He's one of us. Yeah, we did. We had a nice talk, and then I think his wife. I think he's married. So the wives got into a conversation about some stuff, and
of course Rachel doesn't care who it is.
No, not really. I mean, at first she didn't believe me. That's who it was. I'm like, oh, of course it is. So I mean, I'm talking to him about I mean, I said thanks for entertaining me for all those years. Really fun watching everything that you did, and so we talked about some of that kind of stuff, and then then all of a sudden his wife got up and came over here and started talking to my wife about. I'm not even sure exactly what they were talking about. Not about Saturday Night Live.
No,
they were just talking about girl stuff, and it was cool. Good time there. Good time. We also saw Jason Segel from son of a gun. Well, he was in a Hawaii movie.
Yeah, it was Forgetting Sarah
Marshall. Yeah, that
Dracula musical.
I can watch that movie, Dan, once a day, and I would laugh the whole way through it. It's just a masterpiece.
I absolutely lose it when he sits in front of the piano and has the Dracula song.
Die. Die.
I can't.
Oh, man. All right. What do we got? We better get back to football here. Are people going to
Rosholt scored.
Turn us off, and maybe they should.
They're within two scores for what it's worth.
9:25 left to play over in Rosholt. Mike Wendland on the call over there, and he's going to be in this office.
He is. Maybe before we're done.
Straightening up, probably. He's going to be in here straightening up our spreadsheet that keeps track of all the seed scores. For us, it is somewhat of a manual process. So Mike's going to come in and enter wins and losses on that sheet and get us a little bit closer to actuals. And again, we're pretty sure anyway.
Everest falls across the first down line, so they are going to spend another 2 minutes of this clock.
Rosholt fumble, it looked like, Dan. Yep, Rosholt fumbles as they were nearing the Security Health Plan red zone, and that likely puts the nail in the Hornets season.
I think they scored. That might have been a 2-point conversion or something.
Oh, was that? Oh, okay. Well, down by 15 is tough. Tough.
With 9 minutes, yeah.
Yeah, tough. When you've only scored 12 all game and you're down by 15 with 9 minutes.
What's the Marshfield score?
Well, I'm glad you asked. It is my Tigers 17-7 over Hortonville, but it's only the third quarter. Really slow moving game there in Marshfield. And with the blur from the rain, it looks like it's in slow motion.
It does.
Oh, man. Yeah, Tom King over there
Looks like
giving it all he's got, I'm sure.
Looks like Spectravision or whatever they had in the 70s with the blurring colors.
Yep. Yeah, it's a tough look. And again, they're facing right into the wind, and so the wind is pushing the rain right against their window. But yeah, Tigers on defense, which is where they play better defensively. Yeah.
Like the Cowboys.
Yeah, especially last week, but in that not even so well. Thanks for bringing that up, Dan.
I needed the Cowboys defense to get one more point, like a sack, a turnover, anything.
Yeah, they were disheartened by the start of the second half.
Yeah,
they had checked out.
It's so weird because they're so much better than most of the teams in the league, and then they play somebody who's good and. I don't know, just get psyched out or something. I don't know.
Well, I mean, and you say play somebody who's good, maybe play the best team in the entire league, maybe. For as good as the Cowboys' defense is, that Niners' defense is really good. They're really good also. The linebacker, Fred Warner, is just a force. Just a force.
Yeah, he should get consideration for Defensive Player of the Year. At least he should be in that conversation. He really should be.
Yeah, and he won't get a lot. Now, he'll rack up tackles, but he won't get a lot of the other stats. When he drops back into pass coverage.
Yeah, he's covering wide receivers.
Yeah.
Well.
Yep, and you're not going to throw at him. It's kind of like the old defensive backs too that were really good. And you look at their stats, and no interceptions and 3 passes defensed, and they wouldn't get any votes. But the reason would be they took half the field away.
Yeah,
isn't that worth something? Isn't that valuable enough that they're covering half the field? Yeah, but they wouldn't get any votes. No interceptions. 5 passes defensed all year. Oh, that guy, he's not doing it.
Schultz.
Well, I'll tell you what, Dan, they got it. They got the onside kick. Assumption had no idea what was happening. The Assumption players never moved.
Okay, so I'm going to set the scene here. It is a rainstorm. Rochelle just scored. They're kicking off. It's their second kickoff. The first one, it was blown dead before it started type thing. Or Assumption was offside or something happened. They got to re-kick. They don't tee it up. The guy just puts the ball on the turf. There's no tee. It's sitting sideways at him.
Totally illegal.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. And
he kicks it, and it spins like 4 yards in front of him, and then it just started rolling down, and it went past the 10-yard marker, the 40 or whatever.
Yep.
Whatever it was, and Assumption just sat there and watched it.
I think they were. And an offensive lineman just caught the ball.
No, it bounced off his helmet. I think the quarterback caught it.
An own pass. Okay. So, yeah, I mean, that ball started gliding on the wet grass, and it just kept going. It was like somebody was pulling it on a string from the end zone, and it just kept going. And Assumption was just mesmerized.
They just watched it. They didn't know what.
They were stunned and just stood there. Now, look at the rain's really starting to pick up in Rochelle now. More rain coming, folks. Batten down the hatches.
Big 3rd and 11 here. Everest can put the game away. Incomplete. Oh, and a flag.
Late flag. It could be a holding, though, Dan, on Everest. That's in the area of holding, as they say.
Yeah. They asked if West wants to decline it.
Yeah, and so they will.
So West can get the ball back with 2 minutes left for what it's worth.
Okay, there we go. So there's our – are we in the witching hour? I suppose we are, especially with that, right? So, yeah, 2 minutes. Everest late bringing the punt team out. They may end up taking a fiver here or taking a timeout because they brought the punt team out really late unless they did a reset here maybe. I don't know. I didn't see them.
I mean, they had to get the decline penalty and everything.
Get the new ball. Get the K ball out. And we don't see the back judge, but Everest doesn't seem to be concerned.
I'll tell you what. Rushholt is really putting up a fight here in the second half.
Okay, so the punt is away. And West is going to have the ball at about the Everest 35-ish.
They're on 35.
I'm sorry, their own 35. Thank you.
Yeah, so 65 yards to win.
65 yards. They're trailing by 6. 13-7. Be a big confidence. Well, it's going to be a confidence boost for whoever wins it, but more so for West if they were to pull it out just because of the injury and a significant injury that they've had offensively. This would be a nice little wind in their sails for the Warriors if they were somehow able to pull this out. But again, through 46 minutes, they've only scored once. So now you're expecting them to score in 2 minutes.
Looks like Hortonville's in the red zone.
Hortonville is in the Security Health Plan red zone. Promises kept plain and simple. Find securityhealth.org for more information. All right, so here go the Warriors. You know, the pass game has been good, but that pass sailed maybe into the wind there. You know, I don't know which way the wind is blowing in Schofield.
It's hard to say. It was a bad snap. The quarterback had a hard time even catching it, kind of chasing it.
Marshfield-Hortonville game still in the third quarter. So Hortonville on a fourth down, Dan. They're on a 4th and 4 from the Marshfield 7-yard line. Down by 10. Well, you know, and I'm not, yeah. They've got a cross wind, you know. I mean, these are hurricane force winds out there. Well, on some camera views, it sure looks like it, doesn't it? Looks like we're in the Gulf of Mexico with Forrest Gump and the hurricanes coming in, and Lieutenant Dan's on the mast of the ship waving his fist around. So they're going to Hortonville going to call a timeout and think about whether to take these 3 points or to attempt 3 points.
Yeah, that's a weird angle. It's not good when you're on the far sideline or the far hash.
Yeah, with a right-footed kicker, he's got to sweep his leg.
Yeah, in a high school field is tough.
Okay, Rosholt is if you didn't say it, in the Security Health Plan red zone, and they just scored.
They scored, yeah.
All right.
This is a big 2-point try here.
It would make it a one-score game with just 7 minutes left, and it would be an improbable Hornets comeback if that were to happen.
Well, I don't know if Assumption's able to recover an onside kick, so maybe.
The rules comprehension. Now, hopefully, Coach Jeff Sullivan, smart football guy, I'm sure he's told his guys, okay, now next one.
Yeah, just jump on it.
Here's what we got to do.
You can jump on it before it goes 10 yards.
Anywhere you want.
And the ball is moving at literally about 2 feet per second. So, like.
But if you're that middle guy on the return team, right, as soon as the that ball is kicked, you can charge right at the ball.
Yeah.
You can go anywhere you want.
Russell drops the snap and
okay, so they're going to be down by 9. 2-score game, 7 minutes left. And, West having all kinds of trouble completing a pass here. They 3 straight passes incomplete.
And really not close.
No. And now 4th down for the Warriors, and they're going to keep the offense on the field. Must not have 3 timeouts because just 1:40 left to play.
Marshfield turned over Hortonville.
Well, because it's my Tigers, I get to do some things. Oops. Okay, so it was a field goal attempt. Yeah, field goal attempt.
That poor kicker.
Bad
What's he going
snap.
to do?
And then he gets twisted around, and it's intercepted.
Yeah.
So Marshfield actually gains about 10 yards on the interception. And here, Dan, the Evergreens have sealed it up with a blocked punt or a muffed or a bad snap here. Let's find out what happened. We got too much going on in the witching hour.
Yeah, 4th down. You have to go for it. 4th and 12.
Okay, so 4th and 12. And a sack. Big sack for the Greens. Woo!
Dial up the blitz.
And they did. Holy cats. Great blitz call there for Everest Stand.
Yeah, and the Trees are going to win the city battle.
Trees are going to win, and they're going to go into the playoffs with a win. A little confidence boost as, Everest's been up and down all year. I mean, more up than down, but just a little bit unsteady at times. But they come into victory formation here. Do the Evergreens as they lead 13-7 and just 1.5 minutes left. And the kneel down tells me West has no timeouts, and it looks like they have one. Called one there.
And we can't tell too much from this game, from the Marshfield game, but we see we see these kind of scores in the Valley every night, unless you're playing Appleton West or something, right?
Low scores.
Low scoring. The winners generally have 20, less than 20 a lot of times. And then we go out to a 14-13 game last week, and it's just, even though the score is not any different, it's different football.
Rosh Holt celebrity sighting online. McKenna's watching. Hey, McKenna, good luck in the volleyball playoffs next week.
Can you text?
I believe that's who that is.
Can you text Steve and see how our girls' tennis teams are doing?
Well, I already know. Would you like to know?
I would.
Okay. So Pacelli's Natalie Cooper made it to state for singles, and she fell yesterday.
Okay.
So she was eliminated.
Oh, that's right. They played yesterday.
Yeah, they had.
I thought it was Thursday.
It's
my bad.
Yeah, it's they've got like 5 rounds.
Yeah.
So they're not even in a quarterfinal state on Thursday. But at any rate. Natalie Cooper dropped her first, the match, and so she was eliminated, but made it to state, so that's good. Congratulations. Sure. And then Assumption's Addie Vollert and Sarah Shaw won their, I guess we'll call it a preliminary match yesterday. Not sure what else to call it.
Is it quarterfinal today?
No, it's not even that far,
Round
though.
of 16?
I don't think. Yeah, something like that. I don't know.
Sweet 16 today.
It might have been. And they dropped their match today. So the Assumption girls bowed out. The doubles team bowed out today. But highlights of yesterday are on Facebook at Zaleski Sports Wisconsin Rapids and Zaleski Sports Stevens Point.
They'll be back next year.
They were only juniors, and they are very successful in anything that they do on and off the field. And and then the highlights of the Wisconsin Rapids Assumption girls will be on Facebook, Zaleski Sports Wisconsin Rapids tomorrow. So their second highlight. And I believe Coach Phil Hartley is also part of that highlight package, I think. Maybe. Jared, hey, Jared, thanks for watching today. Which reminds me to check in on Auburndale because that game is done, right? And the worst weather we've seen all night has been in Auburndale by far. And there we go. Auburndale 27, Colby 13, and Jared probably staying dry. Jared's a huge Auburndale fan.
That's a little bit of a surprise to me.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, Division 6 Auburndale, Division 5 Colby. All right, Colby's still D5.
Should be.
For the time being, yeah. Dropping fast, though, I think. Yeah, so congratulations, it looks like, to the Auburndale Eagles, who will.
They'll finish second. 1 loss.
Yeah, and again, we've got them as a 2 seed in Division 6. You know, I remember, and Jay Anderson will be on our coaches show tomorrow. Again, 3 o'clock on this channel. Our coaches, football coaches playoff preview show. Auburndale's Jay Anderson will be on the show. A couple of years ago, Dan talked to Jay on that very show, and he had reminded us that at the beginning of the season that particular year, so this might have been 21, they were just coming. So they went to 8-player in 2020 just because of everything that was going on, but that was just to keep playing football rather than having to skip the year. And in 21, the goal was. Coming into the season, we just want to play a home game. So let's get a 4 seed. Let's just get a home game, and they accomplished that goal that year, and that was really good. It looks like we've got a final end of game. There we go. It's like the old Atari or the Commodore. It would kind of spit out a little thing there. Final. Okay. This year though, Auburndale
2 home games.
Looks like 2 home games. You hold serve on level 1. You're going to play 2, and. You know, who knows?
Maybe
I mean, anything can happen. But it looks like it would be Stratford in a level 3 the way we've got it lined up. But congratulations, the Auburndale Eagles! Really nice season, and you get the playoffs and you get a home field for at least a couple games. And as we talked earlier, Dan, that 2-7 matchup in any division is likely to be a running clock kind of scenario. So Auburndale almost assured 2 home games in the playoffs. So congrats to the Eagles.
Yeah, these Mirrorwood teams battle tested.
Oh man,
right?
Tough as nails.
Really good teams. Yeah,
tough as nails.
And a bunch of them make the playoffs because they had the 2 crossover games. So
yeah, against a lesser conference for sure.
Yeah,
that won't be the case going forward. But yeah, so let's talk about them. You got Edgar, Abbotsford, Auburndale, Colby. You got 4 of the 6 in the playoffs in the Maryland in its final year, casting the curtain call for the Marywood. But you got 4 of the 6 in the playoffs.
With Pittsville and Marathon missing.
Pittsville.
Marathon.
Well, you know, Marathon. So 5 of the 6.
I think Marathon's in.
Marathon, I think, is in, Dan. They're going to be one of those running clock, maybe on the wrong side of it. But
5 of 6.
5 of 6 in its, what do they call the last voyage a ship makes? I don't know, it's just final voyage.
Maiden. Or
that's the first one, isn't it?
That's the first one, yeah.
I don't know. There's probably a name for it, but curtain call. It's curtains for the Merriwood. Make sure to tune into Wednesday's Zaleski Sports Show on this channel at 4 o'clock. Dan has the Merriwood Minute every
Merriwood
Wednesday.
Minute.
Yeah, it was really good last week. It was well done, well put together.
A little bit funny, a little bit.
It was entertaining.
Yeah.
Holy! Look at our window now in Marshfield.
There's a lot going on there.
We can't help it. I mean, there's nothing we can do about it. Yeah, that's
a pretty good idea.
That's about it, right? Driving rain into the window in the press box. I mean, what else can you do? Trevor's over there on the 1s and 2s, and if there's anybody that can make it work, it's him. He's going to be able to figure it out. As you used to say, the apparent heir to Zaleski Sports. We're still undecided on that.
Yeah.
And Trevor, he had to wait a while to learn what that word even meant.
I would say it on the air every time I was with him, and he just kind of looked at me like...
Yeah, he admitted a few months later he didn't know what that word meant. He wasn't sure what you were talking about. So we filled him in, and he's like, oh. And I think Rachel said, are you? And he's like, I don't know.
He is very good at what he does.
Oh, excellent. He does almost all of our graphics around here, and he chips in on the games and does all kinds of other stuff behind the scenes that people don't even realize that need to be done at a sports media company.
I just saw a Marshfield guy hydroplane about 4 yards, diving for a ball or something. Just like belly flopped with like water coming up.
Raining heavy. It's been a fun night to watch. Now, there's not been as much... like I think of Ross Holt or Auburndale, I was expecting people caked in mud, and I didn't see that tonight.
No.
So it's disappointed me a little bit. But whatever concerns that people had about their fields are invalid because, I mean, they're playing in these monsoons tonight, and the fields look good. Mm-hmm. And you got a whole week and of 50-degree weather, I'm being told, coming up. So I don't see how these grass fields are going to be any trouble next week at all. At all.
Are you surprised with how many leaves are still on the trees?
A little bit.
In green?
Yeah. As a matter of fact, when I drove to Mosney last night, going down Highway 153, and still a lot of leaves are out there.
Like
I'm not sure what to make of that.
Yet.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's still a good amount of purple and orange though out there too, which is interesting.
Yeah,
but
sure.
Usually not that much green when you see the purple and orange.
Yeah.
You throwing in the towel?
I'm going to save this for later because it's going to be a late night.
It is going to be a late night.
I should have brought snacks.
Yeah, we've got some chips in the back room. That's going to have to be it as far as the food is concerned.
Chips and beverages.
Or DoorDash.
Or DoorDash.
Not a sponsor, but DoorDash.
Imagine if they were.
I can't imagine. I guess I'd have to call someplace in San Francisco. I mean, that's where it is, right? So I'd have to call somewhere out there, and I'm not even sure who to call. Not even sure. Okay, so let's see here. Marshfield with the ball as they near the security health plan red zone. 9 minutes left, and they sport with their defense, a pretty good 10-point lead. Now, a wide receiver pass, and it's going to be pass interference. And a 10-yard penalty is going to put the Tigers in the security health plan red zone, where they're going to look to salt this one away.
What game's in the top right? Is that Amherst?
No, that is Westby and Altoona. And Westby is, I think they're putting an end to the rail season here. They lead 39-14 with 6.5 to play.
I think you can call it. Decision desk.
Decision desk is saying it's over? Yeah, I think so too. Unfortunately for our Rails, we're big Rails fans.
But they might still make it.
Oh,
maybe.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it, but without knowing all the scores tonight, as you've said a couple times, we're in a wait and see. We're in a wait and see on that. And the other complication too, and it happens every year on this Friday night. There's always 10 or 12 stragglers that aren't sending in their score, and you've got media like us that start calling the phone. You've got the association that's calling the phone. Somebody's mom and dad's calling, and the phone lines, they fall off the pole because there's so many people are calling over there. Although the Rails almost took a punt back for a touchdown. They're not done. You can't take the fight out of a railroad. You can't. It's sturdy. Oh, actually, no, sorry. That was Westby. I keep forgetting Altoona's in the pink tonight.
I have a final for the game of the night.
Okay. Oh, Kettle Moraine and Muskego. All right, what do you got? This is an important one.
Finals 8-7.
Oh, man.
Kettle Moraine wins.
What a game. What a game. Well, congrats to the Lasers. Undefeated season. Beat the two top teams in Division I in back-to-back weeks. Yeah. They beat number 2 and then they beat number 1. And this is what I was attempting to tell some of the folks on X.com earlier today.
I have to show this to you.
Okay.
So this is the 2-point conversion to win, but look at the weather. Maybe this way.
Oh, no. Oh, wow.
It is pouring.
So the go-ahead 2-point conversion, look at all the flash bulbs too, right?
Yeah.
Is that what it looks like to you?
Yeah, the stadium lights might be going on.
Oh, that's probably more likely what it is.
Yeah.
They got the fancy lights. Look at we're interviewing in the hallway of the press box.
Smart.
In Auburndale, right? To stay at. Well, Joe is smart, right? He doesn't and it's a chance for Jay and the quarterback, Anderson, I forget the young man's first name, to get out of the rain.
Yeah.
I did that at an ice bowl in 2018. I did. It was Stratford and Spencer Columbus, and it was 30-something degrees, and it was just driving sleet, and the field had ice on it in the second half. And so I had coach and player of the game come up to the press box, and we had a heater in there. Like, we were toasty. Like, I took my coat off.
Yeah.
And they're out there literally freezing in ice. Anyway, so, yeah, nice.
I almost wore, speaking of ice, my Chicago Blackhawks jersey tonight.
Okay. Talking about seeds, Jay says it's really going to help his case. Jay Anderson, the head coach of that football team. Coach, you got nothing to worry about. You are the 2 seed, and your case has been made.
1 seed?
Well, because if the map is right, Stratford is the 1.
But we didn't figure Auburndale would probably win this game. So,
yeah, maybe not.
Their win percentage increases.
Well,
a little bit.
Okay, so again, people are going to get to see behind the curtain here a little bit, Dan.
Yeah.
Well, that's okay. I don't mind that because we have nothing to hide around here. Okay, well, let's put it in. So you got Auburndale beating Colby. Now, yeah, I'm going to ruin formulas, though, if I do too much here. And you've got Colby on the 0 there. And so Auburndale, without updating the entire strength of schedule, climbs to a seed score of 675.
That's not going to be enough to get to Stratford, I don't think.
And Stratford,
they already have their game yesterday in, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm in Division 6 there, aren't I? Oh, I'm in the wrong sheet. Stratford at, what'd I say Auburndale was?
675 maybe?
Oh, I don't know, Dan. I don't know. Let's go back and look here. Again, this whole sheet's got to get updated. So, yep, Auburndale 675.
That's opponent win percentage. Is that their seed score though?
Yep.
Oh, that one. Okay.
Yeah, right here. 675 is Auburndale's seed score. Stratford, we'll just use this sheet here. Maybe this is a little bit easier to go through because we may have some breaking news here, Dan. We may have some breaking news.
Photo finish, maybe.
Man, I'll tell you. Those, I think, have been, some of them have been calculated. Stratford, 667.
Ooh, it's going to be tight. It's going to come down to how everybody's opponents did.
Yep. So, as it stands now, 667. Make sure I say this again here. 667 in Auburndale ahead at 675. Auburndale, if that map is right, Auburndale, and if the seed score holds after we calculate everybody else's wins and losses on the night, it's possible, Dan,
that they host
that Auburndale has just leapt Stratford into the 1 seed.
Yeah.
And they should thank the Merriwood Conference.
Absolutely. You
kidding me, right? They would need to send a gift basket to everybody except maybe Abbotsford because they're also in Division 6. But send a gift basket to the rest of your conference mates for having an outstanding record.
Yeah.
Right. So here. And the Auburndale's non-con was not great here, Dan. Not great. Milwaukee Hamilton finished 3-5. Bigfoot coming into the night 0-8.
Yeah, the Marywood is so. The reason why the Marywood is so good is because they all got 2 wins in conference. So
here we'll go through it. Loyal 4-6. That was one of the crossovers. Oconto Falls. This is where things are wacky. Okay, yeah, there's going to be some work there. They've got Oconto Falls at 8-2.
Yeah, the other team,
So
above them are at 6-4. So
that's 10. So they're counting the forfeit wins plus the replacement game win.
Yeah, you don't count the forfeit wins.
So that'll need to get updated. So that might help. But even with that being considered, right? Pittsville 4-5. That was the last place team in the Marywood.
Yep.
4-5.
Same way in basketball.
Marathon also 4-5, and then Abbotsford 7 wins. Edgar 7 wins. Colby 7 wins. That's not right either, though.
Edgar should have 9 wins now, but
or 8 wins. 8 wins. Yeah, but a tremendous work being done by the rest of the Marywood to lift each other up.
Yeah. In
that way, because maybe all but Edgar, Dan, were undefeated in non-conference. Yeah, I think that's true.
Edgar had the loss to Ellsworth
to begin the year. Let's look here.
Russell just scores on a tipped touchdown pass.
Marathon lost to Stanley Boyd in non-conference. So the entire conference, Dan, only had 2 non-conference losses on the year.
The police are here to arrest you for having speakers.
Well, it's about time. The entire conference only had 2 non-conference losses.
That's crazy.
So your strength of schedule is skyrockets. It's near the top when that happens.
Now the opponent's opponent percentage isn't as good, but it's worth less than your opponent's. So, but yeah. We see it in football. We see it in basketball. When your last place team in your conference is 500, like you're going to get an incredible boost in the computer numbers.
All right. So it looks like on our red zone coverage here anyway, we are down to just 1 game.
Is it Assumption Russell?
Well, maybe we need to bring that game in. Huh? Well, there's 48 seconds left.
Only down by 8. We don't know if Assumption can get an onside kick.
All right, hang on. We'll change it there real quick because Marshfield is up by 10 with 4 minutes left.
Russell believes. They're pumped. They just got a 2-point conversion to make it an 8-point game.
All right, let's make it quick then, Zaleski. Make it quick. Change that game over there. There we go. Who would have thought, though, that the game would be that close? Crazy talk. Absolute craziness. What do I have going on here? There we go.
The Assumption coach is telling his players that you need to jump on the ball.
He better be telling them that.
Yeah.
Because the onside kick is coming. And I would say he's probably going to just do the same thing he did before, but maybe just kick it one side or the other instead of straight ahead.
Remember in high school, when we did an onside kick, we didn't do the whole, try to have it bounce 4 times and have it pop up in the air. It was just kick it at the fattest guy on the front.
And a line drive, right?
Yep.
Just kick it right at him. Yeah.
And a lot of times it hits off his helmet or his jersey or, yeah.
All right.
But he just laid it down.
Here we go.
Oh.
Okay. So they've learned from their errant ways, have the Royals.
That one was hit a lot harder.
Number 8 for Roshold afterwards. He was like, oh.
Oh, so close. Has Roshold won this year?
Jason watching. Jason, thanks for checking in with us. Let's just, you ask great questions. Every week, Dan, you ask great questions. So I'm on ZaleskiSports.com, just for people at home.
Yeah.
I know you already know how to do this. And I click Roshold right there. Boom, right to the schedule.
I mean, they have a Wild Rose forfeit win. Probably.
Yeah. So they got beat by Marathon 40-0, Edgar 48-0, Pacelli 36-12. They got beat by the replacement Wild Rose game 26-0, lost to Iola 42-0, and lost to Loyal 44-0. They are 0-8. 0-8.
And this is probably the closest game. Looking at
By far.
yeah,
I'd say by far. I mean, coming into the night, it was Pacelli 36-12 was their closest. But the season ends for the Hornets.
they're using their timeouts though.
The ball's wet. I mean, who knows, man? Who knows? But down by 8, a miracle. Be a miracle.
I think Assumption was projected at a 7. That sounds right.
Yep. Yeah, their seed score is tremendously low.
Yeah.
Tremendously low.
They were one of the last teams in.
Yeah.
But this is their 4th win, right?
4th win, so they'll be ahead of all the tiebreak teams, but the seed score will put them at 7. Yeah, at 7, and depending, it may be dropping to 8. Again, depending on the rest of the 3 and 4 teams.
They will not like the trip to Edgar. I will say that. Edgar is playing really well. They haven't given up a point in 7 3/4 games or whatever it's been.
Well, let's see what we had, Dan. I like the talk. So let's see what we had here on Wednesday. Again, you can see these brackets now, ZaleskiSports.com. Just click VIP, follow the instructions. We got Edgar 1, Turtle Lake as the 8, and Assumption going to Boyceville for their running clock showdown with Boyceville.
Yeah.
I'm just speaking the truth here tonight, gang. Speaking the truth.
Yeah, Edgar's going to have 3 home playoff games.
Yep.
Stratford or Auburndale will have 3 playoff games at home, assuming that they keep winning. Have a chance for some of our local teams to make a run.
There is a real chance, isn't there? Let's look at Division 6 here. Just a secret between me and Dan. But again, you can look at home on your own. I told you how to go do it. So, I mean, we could have an Auburndale-Abbotsford rematch.
Mm-hmm.
Could be, but Auburndale handled Abbey pretty easily. And, in this top half, not much is going to get in the way of anybody.
Maybe?
Yeah. But the Panthers
not as good this year as past
years. Or are they the Bobcats? I think they're the Panthers. That's not going to put a lot of fright in anybody. And the Lady Smith Vikings, I mean,
no.
Well, for one, you got Lady in your name and then Vikings in the other part of it. That's not going to scare many people. It very well could be either. It looks like, regardless of their seed even, Dan, it's Stratford Auburndale in a level 3 game, and then likely having to tangle with the Grantsburg Pirates and
level 4
in a trip to go to state.
Yeah, so assuming that the maps work out the way that we think they will, that we will have a local team come out of that bracket to a level 4.
To a level 4. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't see any way around it. In the order we had it coming into the night, Stratford, Auburndale, Abbotsford. It's possible it goes Auburndale, Stratford, Abbotsford. But either way, Stratford, Auburndale, the cream of the crop out of that threesome.
I think it'll be a good game.
Be a nice game to watch, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
And, they've been rivals in basketball for so long, and some of the other sports, too. I mean, being in that Merriwood for years and years like that. And they're no strangers in football either, because they were in the same Merriwood up until 2019, and Stratford left for the CWC Large. In 2019 was our last year in the Merriwood for Stratford. So it's not been that long ago.
Yeah.
None of the kids on the team ever played each other, but a current team, but recent.
It doesn't tell us a whole lot, but Auburndale gave Edgar a better game. Stratford was not in that Edgar game at all.
Oh, man. It was a disaster for the Tigers that day. Just an all-and-out disaster.
I think Edgar beat Auburndale by 3-4 touchdowns as well. So,
yeah, blowout.
Yeah,
blowout there. But that's just what Edgar is doing this year. Well, you're across the street. We had the final score come through. Edgar 44, Marathon nothing. So Edgar has not given up a point since the first quarter of week 2, and that was Stratford. That's been it.
I remember that night here.
And they've only given up 2 touchdowns all year.
Yeah. I was not expecting to turn that game off at halftime, sitting here that night.
No, we were geared up we were thinking we were going to be here all night watching that game, and we shut it off at halftime.
Yeah, it was
unheard of.
Yeah. Is that it? Are all the games done?
No, we've just got the my Tigers straggling behind, taking their merry old time in the cold driving rain against a pretty pesky Hortonville team. We saw Hortonville during the year. A struggle against the upper teams in the Valley Football Association. Spash won over there, and I think won by about 20. Everest the same thing, and but along the way, Hortonville scooped up 4 wins.
Yeah,
only lost to those 3 teams: West, Spash, and Everest. But it looks like with 2:20 left, they're going to fall to Marshfield, and both Marshfield and Hortonville in conference at 4-3. It's tough to believe, and what that means, Dan, is Spash, Wausau West, DC Everest, Hortonville, Marshfield in the playoffs, all above 500 in conference. That's crazy. And that means that handing out like trick-or-treat bags of candy wins were Appleton West and Wisconsin Rapids. Just handing out wins to these other teams, and East to some extent. But the worst of the bunch for me was Rapids and Appleton West. Yeah. Just handing out wins to the other teams like candy. Just here you go. I mean, they put up no resistance in conference at all, those 2 teams.
Yeah.
None.
And the only way to get everybody into the playoffs is they'll have to beat each other too.
Yeah.
Right? All those 4-win teams beat up each other.
Yep. I was one score we didn't look at was Wisconsin Rapids tonight. So we kind of let the Wisconsin Rapids Raiders go, didn't we? Kind of dismissed them halfway through the year.
Yeah.
And deservedly so, I think. I mean, they did not have the season they wanted to have. I'm going to take a look at they were playing tonight. Oops, went too far.
See how my Lakeland T-Birds did
they're
tonight.
playing East tonight. So Wisconsin Rapids did get a win last week. They beat Appleton West, again, who's also, like I said, them and Rapids both handing out wins like candy to the other conference teams. 31-0 over Appleton West, but they're playing East tonight. Rapids at East at Tom Field, a media black hole.
It's true.
It is. It is. Media don't like going in there. There's very few places to perform a professional broadcast, and you can hardly get an internet signal there. And you're in downtown Wausau, and you can hardly find internet to provide the good folks of Wisconsin a quality broadcast. It's tough.
I am trying to look at some scores here. There's still so many scores to report. People are going to be waiting all night for these things to come in.
9:30 already, and we've probably got at least 2 hours before that last team finally realizes that nobody had, did you send in the score? Did you? I thought you did. I thought you did.
Eau Claire Memorial got running clock tonight.
Yeah.
To Menominee.
Yeah, they've had a season to forget. I would bet the same for Eau Claire North.
Spash 56-6.
Yeah, that makes sense.
We talked
over Appleton West.
Yep. We talked about St. Croix Falls. They won 51-13 tonight.
They did, huh? Okay. Yeah, we've got them going to Wittenberg Burnhamwood. I believe is what that showed. Although that's a long ways for them.
Coleman beat Crandon 54-6.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about Crandon. Though.
Well, it's not that far of a drive. That's only about a half-hour drive for those 2 teams.
It's true.
Yeah. So, for whatever that means, but Crandon's season likely comes to an end. Yeah.
44-0, Edgar. You mentioned that.
Yep.
Tomahawk beat the Truckers.
Clintonville. So Tomahawk's in the playoffs then, right?
They should be, yeah.
Yeah. Good for the Hatchets. Bringing their Hatchets to the playoffs.
Yeah, we have some good team names up here. Mm-hmm. Hatchets is pretty good.
It's a really nice one.
Yeah. So the Truckers.
Truckers, right? Think about that when that school was commissioned, and they went around the horn in the boardroom that day. What should our nickname be? Somebody said Truckers, and everybody else said, "Oh yeah."
Oh yeah. Lakeland beat the Hodaks 32-6.
Hey, the T-Birds.
5 in a row.
Heading to the playoffs with 5 straight wins.
Yeah, just like last year.
Wow. And then what happened?
They lose by 40 in round 1.
Let's look up the. I was in GNC territory last night. The Mosney folks were asking me all kinds of questions, as you can imagine.
They should be one.
I think they're far and away. Yeah, far and away a one. I don't think that's a question at all. But the funny thing was just all it's the GNC bracket, and it always is, right? Or almost always is.
Well, yeah, you're in Division 3. There's no other Division 3 schools up there.
Just yours, really. And yeah, so we've got Lakeland going to get running clocked by Rice Lake on Friday.
Sounds right.
Does that sound about right?
Yeah.
Okay. Somewhat of a long drive too over to Rice Lake, but again, the northern half is so sparsely populated that you just got to drive a ways to find a similarly sized school. Yeah, Anago they'll get hammered.
Although Lakeland beat Rhinelander, maybe they'll. I don't know.
I don't know.
They lost to Wausau East in Tomahawk. You dug your own grave.
Yeah. Hayward gets the rematch with Mosney. The reason I bring that up is, again, as I said, Mosney set a conference record, only giving up 3 points all year, and it was the Hayward Hurricanes who scored those 3 points. So now here comes Hayward to Mosney, and maybe they might score 3 again.
Maybe.
They won't score more than that.
I'm surprised someone kicked a field goal in that conference.
Hayward have a boys soccer team, do you think? I don't know if they do. Maybe they do. They have a hockey team, I know that. I don't know if they have a boys soccer team. I'm not sure. Seems like they'd be right on the border of having that or not.
Yeah.
Having enough enrollment and then having interest from the enrollment into that type of thing. Marshfield celebrates. They are playoff berth guaranteed. Look at them. They are a happy group of Tigers. They're prowling right now at midfield. We're going to turn the audio on. Tom King is there, and he's got some interesting questions for Coach Denny Gadel, who's not able to make our show tomorrow. But defensive coach Len Ludke Jr. is going to be on the show. But
where'd you have the Tigers?
7. Not favorable. Not looking very good. Oh, let's see. Last year they got hammered by Waunakee in round 1. They were in 8 last year.
Yeah, Marshfield. So they're Division 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. So a lot of seasons Division 2 is a lot weaker than Division 1. This is not one of those years.
No.
But you think about Marshfield, they're like, we're Division 2 this year, right? We're a big school in the Valley that gets to play down, but you don't want to play down this year.
Not going to matter. Yeah. So the New Richmond Tigers beat Marshfield in week 2, and that looks like what's coming up on Friday.
The 1-8 game?
Yeah. I thought we had them as a 7, but this says 8. Or we've got Menominee as a 2. Either way.
Yeah.
Either way, it's Tigers celebrate the win tonight. I celebrate with you, Tigers. I really do.
Yeah, you really counted them out back in week 4 or 5.
I was so depressed. And again, folks, those are my Marshfield Tigers. It's the only team I cheer for, really, in football anyway. Friend of the show, Paul J. Galinsky, calling in. I wonder, we might be able to get Jags on the mixer here. Hang on, Jags. We're going to see if we can get you on our mixer. Hang on just a second.
Yeah, so keep it clean.
Yeah, hang on. Let's see what we got here. Roadcaster Pro. We'll lock that on. We're going to have to get this figured out because tomorrow, this is how all the coaches call in tomorrow.
Do you have a dongle plugged in for it?
No, it connects on the Bluetooth here. Is what happened. Yeah. He's just talking to himself. Jags, we don't have you yet. Hang on. I just hear him talking. There's got to be a Bluetooth button on here somewhere. Again, we're going to have to get this figured out by tomorrow anyway.
It's not the one with the cell phone here, is it?
Oh, here. This is why. Okay. It's the one that says Bluetooth. This one. So hang on. It's still got to connect. Oh. It's got to do this thing here. Oh, pair. Okay. It's like I'm a 70-year-old dude here trying to connect some things.
I just
he's saying things. I don't know what he's saying though.
This is thrilling.
Yeah, riveting, right? Riveting. We're all staring at the mixer here, trying to figure this out. Let's see here. And then connect. We'll do this. It does work. It works pretty slick when it works. Yeah, Jags, we'll call you back. We'll get this thing hammered out. We'll call you back. Yeah, in years past, this maybe because it was already on the because I was already on the phone, it was having some troubles. I don't ever know. See, it says connecting here.
Connected for calls.
That's my watch. Maybe if I turn that off, huh? Let's turn my watch off. There's got to be a way, right? Maybe it can only be connected to one device at a time.
That could be.
That doesn't seem to be any better. Okay, let's see here. We've got Tom Magnuson on the field interviewing. Denny is he is energy. He is just pure energy. And we love him. Man, I love Denny Gadel. He's a lot of fun. And he's all energy down there. So we're going to crank it up here and listen. Because, again, Denny's not able to make the coach's show tomorrow. He is sending his defensive coach here, which is great. We appreciate that.
To the
phone line, anyway.
Long couple weeks, we haven't scored a touchdown in a little bit. Things got better. Quarterback manned up.
Tell me about it, Coach.
You see the unbelievable at the end. I mean, flat out phenomenal. Grew up a whole bunch. Took all year to get here, but I'm glad it's happening right now at the playoff time. And there's no doubt we got ourselves in. And these guys are a phenomenal football team. Their defense is extra special. Guys going all kinds of places playing college football, but man, oh man, we're at home. It's raining, and when it's pouring, we're scoring. We had a little thing going. So
when it's pouring, we're scoring.
We had all kinds of things happen.
Yes. Sorry.
When it's pouring, it's scoring.
Sure did, and the defense especially. With the
that is so good.
In that first quarter, the defense was lights out tonight, and all the turnovers they caused. Yeah, well, I'll talk to Len about that first drive, but again, he came back real hard, and again, picks. I think we have 2 or 3. Do we have more? I don't know. I'm watching the offense and defense and trying to make everything happen, but phenomenal team effort we had tonight. I'm just happy going.
Coach says I'm too busy out here.
With a little momentum.
Too busy.
We have both interviewed so many coaches over the last couple of years, and you'd rather have a coach that's talking than one that's not talking.
Hey, we get to play another week, so we're pretty excited. And you get to sleep tonight and not worry all night whether or not you're in or not. Yeah, that's it too, but I don't get to sleep on weekends. I travel to Mankato or anywhere out west to watch my son play, so I can't wait. It's going to be a great ride wherever we go tomorrow. So congratulations and good luck next week. Thank you so much. All right, let's bring in the guy who has the big
He is a energetic guy. I love talking to him. My interviews go like an hour with him, like in our preseason interview.
Pick 6.
I think they're running. I saw the ball get thrown, and I just caught it, ran.
You remember that time? That was awesome.
Except for that one drive in the first quarter, I guess. Talk about how the defense played tonight and what was working for you.
We just really had to stop the short run, and I guess the deep pass, which is what we were doing most of the time. So
yeah, they're part of.
Excellent. There you go. Coach Dennis Gadel, everybody.
Who played that skit on SNL?
Chris Farley.
Oh, yeah, what was the name of that show that he was doing?
Oh, I don't remember that.
Remember that? That was awesome.
Remember that? Yeah. One of the first ones he did was Patrick Swayze. It was one of the first episodes of that show, and it was really good. And then I think he did one later with Michael Jordan. I think Jordan was on that. Jordan was on Stuart Smiley.
Yeah.
Or was that what it was called?
Stuart Smalley.
Stuart Smalley, yeah.
Yeah.
He was Jordan was on there. Jordan was his episode was good.
It was really good.
Yeah.
It is on live this week again.
They're
They're
back,
They're
huh?
back.
Yeah, okay. I'm probably not back with them, but
Pete Davidson.
He's the host?
Yep.
Okay. All right, guess what?
So apparently he's not an actor because the Actor Guild can't be on there.
Oh, yes, they've embargoed themselves.
Yes,
huh?
so it's going to be a lot of music people, probably. Oh.
There we go. Oh, yeah, I knew I would get it to work here.
This could be anything.
first-time caller, long-time listener. Hello, Jason Zaleski and Dan.
All right, there we go.
Hello.
Paul Jaglinski. First off, where were you tonight? Let's start with that.
Actually, that's what I was calling in. So we had a really nice Northwoods battle as Tomahawk defeated Clintonville tonight 29-20. Actually, 35-20, but it was a back-and-forth ball game the whole way through, and a little bit of an upset. So Clintonville needed the win to become an automatic qualifier. Tomahawk now picked up their third conference win tonight, but they're 6-5 overall with a win over Rylander, I believe,
Lakeland,
or maybe a win over Lakeland and a 1-point loss to Rylander. So I was curious to see if the supercomputer shows that if what their bubble case looks like.
Okay, well, let's. I'm going to take a look there. While I'm looking that up, what else? What else do you know tonight?
It's one of those deals where I just wanted to give a shout out to all the officials. It definitely was a rainy, different experience in terms of working in this. Thankfully, those that have the turf fields tonight, I think, had a huge advantage versus kind of the mudded up fields. But Tomahawk's got a really nice facility. They had a good crowd. But yeah, we rain geared up and we survived the night, which is pretty nice.
While I'm looking this up, you mentioned the game that you were officiating at. Tell us about your crew.
So we are kind of a mix. So unfortunately, we had 2 injuries this year. So we had 2 younger in terms of years of officiating, guys that had worked JV experience that came through. We had 9 varsity games this year, so we worked each of the 9 weeks. We worked anywhere from the Northwoods League to the Valley, a couple Merriwood games, Central Wisconsin Conference, and had a real nice year. It was we had a lot of highly ranked teams. So we had Stratford, Amherst, a lot of highly ranked teams taking on some not such great teams. So at one point, I think it was 259-0 through our first 5 weeks of football. But the last 4 weeks of football have been 4 very competitive games for us. So we had Smash last week and finished with a game between Tomahawk and Clintonville this week.
And talking to WIAA football official Paul Jaglinski, I took a look. We didn't have, into the night anyway, coming in, we didn't have Tomahawk in the playoff field, and now we all wait with bated breath with the rest of Hatchet Nation to see if the win tonight is able to get them through into a tiebreaker scenario.
Well, they beat Westfield.
Okay, go ahead, Dan. Beat Westfield.
They beat Clintonville. And they beat Lakeland, and they beat Kingdom Prep Lutheran. So let me see what Westfield's record is, but not. I mean, the Lakeland win's going to be okay. I think the tiebreaker is conference wins, though, right?
Yeah,
conference record. Okay.
And I think that how Rylander and Lakeland turned out tonight, that could make the Lakeland win a much better win for them.
Yeah, but to get into the playoffs, you don't count anything non-conference, only conference wins. And Tomahawk has a couple of forfeit wins, so I don't know. We'll have to see.
Yeah, they lost to Crandon, lost to O'Connell Falls, lost to Crivets, lost to Coleman. I'd say the math probably works against them in the way of a tiebreaker. It probably does. If they get in, though, they'll have a seed score somewhere around 458, 459.
Not terrible.
Yeah, and as Dan and I looked throughout the night, anything in that neighborhood is about average statewide, as the playoff field has become a little diluted over the last couple of years. So if they were to get in, yeah, who knows? Could be a 6 seed or something like that with that kind of a score, if they get in.
And it'll be interesting to see. Clintonville's a big spread team, and it was very tough tonight. So I'm curious to see if this loss will now knock Clintonville out, because according to the projections by the website, I don't know if I'm allowed to say that or not, but according to the projections by the website that potentially is out there, Clintonville was projected in the field today, but I also assume that they were probably projected to win tonight's ball game.
Yeah, and I would now, according to the math I have here, Clintonville only had one win coming in. I show them losing to Amherst, Mosinee, Crivets, Wautoma, Wisconsin Dells, O'Connell Falls, and Coleman. So they've only got one win. Thinking
but they pick up the two.
They had the two forfeit wins.
The two conference, the two forfeit wins. So
Okay.
they're 3-4 now in conference, and I believe that they were in the bubble.
Okay, I'm sorry. Yep, you're right. The forfeit wins. So
Yeah, I don't think those forfeit wins help you very much.
well, you're not able to gain a whole lot with your strength of schedule with those.
Yeah.
Would have a similar, just a tick less on a seed score than Tomahawk, but yeah, with the loss, they're probably out, and Tomahawk now again waiting till 10 o'clock tomorrow morning to see if they get to have a playoff game.
So Clintonville should be ahead of Tomahawk because Clintonville beat Crandon
In the tiebreaker? Okay.
Crandon is 7-4.
Okay. Well, then in that case, I would say the Hatchets they're probably both most likely out.
Yeah.
Probably.
You're gonna have riding the streets in Tomahawk considering the head-to-head win. I know that is. I know as Dan would like to go ahead and remind everybody, and I'm sure you guys will talk about that again, it's only one game according to the supercomputer, but the head-to-head will definitely spark some debate.
If Clintonville were to make it in, I wouldn't go anywhere near Tomahawk tomorrow afternoon.
Yeah. Head-to-head is taken into consideration if it's only two teams left. Like if it's
there's one spot and there's two teams.
Yep.
It'll most likely in these tiebreakers
not be those two.
And if they were, it would almost likely be, again, what I was talking about before, 8 teams and 7, only 7 spots, and they get weeded out pretty quick.
Yeah, you take the best one and then you start back at the top.
Right.
And then,
Yeah, they wouldn't last all the way down there. All right, well, good. Well, Mr. Jay Galinsky, have a safe ride home, and make sure you're watching tomorrow, 3 o'clock, Football Coaches Playoff Preview Show right here on Zaleski Sports.
Mr. Galinsky, are you driving past the studio on the way home?
Not driving past the studio, but I thought the network tonight had a couple real interesting, exciting games. A big win for Marshfield. Like I said, seeing them firsthand last week, that's a team that I think could be a little bit sneaky in the playoffs, especially with them getting in. That's kind of a nice win. And I thought really a nice statement win for Auburndale tonight, knocking off Colby. That was pretty impressive. I'm a huge fan for all listening of the 6 p.m. kickoff. Just like a 6 p.m. tip-off. Big fan at WIA. Hell, let's hashtag that. Get that going.
Well, let me tell you, Jags. Right now, the supercomputer is blowing smoke. Right now, there is some big gear grinding going on in there because it looks like, now again, there's a lot of wins and losses that need to be tabulated, but it is very close between Stratford and Auburndale for that coveted number 1 seed.
Ooh,
very close.
That is breaking news. That's reason to tune in tomorrow at 3 just to see where that goes and see what both of the coaches have to say about that.
And both coaches will be calling in, so we'll get a chance to probably talk about a potential level 3 matchup between Stratford and Auburndale.
Well, to quote the Jets linebacker, can't wait. So you guys have a great night.
Thanks, Jags. Drive safe. All right, there you go. The incomparable Paul J. Galinsky.
The one and only.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think we're going to wrap up the show. I know we've seen one of these before where a guy is kind of staring off into the corner, going through all kinds of things on the computer, and I'm not interested in that kind of a format tonight.
I sat and watched that for 3 hours a couple of years ago.
Well, because at around 1:30 or 2 a.m., the brackets came out. That would have been 2 years ago. It would have been October of 21. The brackets came flying out at about 2 in the morning. And the chat box was live that night. The chat box was fire that night.
It was really good.
Yeah, it's the only reason I was able to stay up that late because I liked reading all the comments. And Dan was a frequent flyer in the chat box.
I was.
I had a couple. I got scolded about one thing that I said on there, but I wasn't wrong.
Yeah, I got scolded a couple times.
Well, we won't subject the nice folks to this. Instead, we're going to go in the back and fire up that supercomputer and start to get things tabulated. And again, we will be back on the air at 3 o'clock tomorrow, sitting right here in whatever that is. That's about 14 hours from now. We'll be sitting right here, and we'll be talking to coaches from all over the state. And we'll also be talking to WIA football commissioner Tom Shafransky, mostly about map making. Dan, as we go back here, give the folks some final thoughts on what you saw tonight.
Yeah, not a whole lot of upsets. Like Paul Draglinski said, really big win for Auburndale over Colby. Not just this year, but Colby's been one of those teams that has been almost untouchable for most of the conference for years now.
Yeah,
right? Probably,
2018 going back to, for me.
Yeah. I really don't think Auburndale's beaten Colby maybe ever. I mean, not in a long time, right? So that's a really big win for that program.
Yeah, and that win may have catapulted them into a number 1 seed.
Well, it helps make the case, like the coach said.
He's hoping the hand of God is what he was speaking to there, but the numbers, we're going to find out.
Really tight.
Really super. And that's why we live for these moments here. Also tight, and again, we've talked about it so much over the last week, Kaukauna and Kettle Moraine. Big win for the Lasers tonight, big win for the Ghosts last night. Either way, again, if the map is right, just similar to Stratford Auburndale, it could be Kaukauna Kettle Moraine in a level 3.
So, hypothetical situation. If Kettle Moraine's the 2, Kaukauna is 1, people are going to lose their collective minds.
Well, they already are. So, I mean, they are because of our projections. And, there is so much emotion built up in some folks about their favorite team. And that's what makes them a fan. I get that. But that emotion gets in the way of actual logic and ration.
I have a feeling that the hand of God's going to help with that one way or the other.
Well, it might. We're going to find that out too, right? I'm going to leave the folks with this. Again, we have spent hundreds of hours just on football, seeds and maps alone, and again, we feel really confident with what we have out there for our VIP users. It was told to me by a football coach earlier in the week. It wasn't disputing our results. He was saying, he was being polite. Well, there's multiple out there, and we're really not sure which one is going to be the one. There's multiple we're looking at. And I said, oh, well, what where else? Well, we got a guy on the team. His dad has a sheet.
Yeah.
Okay. Good luck, Dad.
I mean, I'm a big fan of Kaukauna. I honestly am. We had a great time there. We've been there a couple times this year. Kettle Moraine is the best team in the state.
Yeah, I also agree with that, right?
Feelings aren't involved in the supercomputer, though.
No, they're not. It's cold-hearted.
It really is.
Cold-hearted. It actually has no heart. It just has aluminum and copper and silicone.
I just learned how to love.
All right, that's it. We're going to end it right there. Have a great night, everybody.